Well, hello, and how are you doing? I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you're online and you're listening in, if you can hear me. We're just getting started. You'll join me in a second. It's okay. Wanted to get the show started because we are running a couple of minutes behind, but not too late. Mr. Beaver is just right here beside me. He's going to slide into his position in a minute. We have a few. I turned my camera off by accident. We have a few special guests with us today, and we're going to get it started in just about 2 or 3 minutes' time, I think. How about that? I just have to adjust my camera a little bit here. It suddenly went askew for some reason. Oops, wrong camera. I got 2 cameras and a whole bunch of equipment, and hopefully we can make this function properly. There we go. That's a little bit better. And tilt it down. You can see the shirt. I do have the Mental Health Talk shirt on. And we did do the 5K walk earlier today. I don't know if you caught the live stream at all. We were on for 2 hours, I think. We did a big loop of Centertown, Ottawa, up to Parliament Hill, past the Senate, down by the canal, crossover, go through Minto Park, down Elgin Street, and right here to where we are right now, the beautiful Lieutenant's Pump at 361 Elgin Street in beautiful downtown Ottawa. You like the way I do that? That was kind of fun. I enjoy that. So first off, let's bring in our guest. We have our guest right here beside me, Senator Patrick Brazeau, the Honourable Senator Patrick Brazeau. And let me just fix the camera. There we go. All right. Sir, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Excellent.
How are you today?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing very well.
Excellent. We had a pretty good walk today, I thought. We had a decent turnout. We had people along the way who were asking us questions like, what are you guys doing? And we point to the shirt. It's about mental health. And of course, we had the live stream. So there's about, I think at the time, there's almost 500 in the live stream. And of course, we'll get more viewers later on as people watch the replay later. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. Mr. Beaver should be with us in just a second. He's just tidying up a couple of things. I have to adjust my headset here. I'm using a different headset because I couldn't find my regular one. So the hearing is a little bit different for me today. So, sir, what do you think about our walk today? Did you have a good time? It was a good time?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Look, and not only because of the issue as to why we took part in this walk, but also to get to meet a lot of new people, and and certainly the weather was certainly cooperative today. Just the most perfect forecast really for these types of walks, for sure.
Yeah. You don't want it to be blisteringly hot, but you don't want it to be ice cold. I think it was just literally the perfect temperature. Now, as long as we stayed in the sun now, because we started out in the shade, it was like, it's a little chilly. Let's just move to the sunny side of the street.
And a few steps forward, and then we started warming up. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was interesting to be able. I've never done that. Like, I've walked that route many times, but I've never done it and sort of narrated what was going on and what we were doing and why we were there. So that, I mean, you can see I threw this together quickly. There's a mess of wires in front of me right now, which messes with my OCD. OCD, ADHD, anxiety, and depression. I can barely hear it in my right ear, and I'm losing my sight. Isn't life great? So yeah, we had some folks who come out and participated today, and thanks to each and every one of them who took part. Where's Mr. Beaver? Oh, there's Mr. Beaver. He's just about ready to crawl up. He was just finishing his meal, and I said we're running a little late, so I'm gonna get started. You're gonna have to crawl under there, sir. Yeah, you got it. Okay, just watch. There's a cable there. Yeah. I had to throw this together pretty quickly. So there we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. You just slide in beside me. I'll adjust the camera. Hang on. Let me just adjust the camera. There we are. There. Okay, that's a little bit better. Whoops. Other way. Why is this going not like that way?
There we go.
Okay, let me just adjust. That was strange. Okay, there we go.
Hello, everybody. Hello, kids and cubs. Thank you so much for joining us. And as Mr. Grizzly mentioned, we have our guest, the Honourable Senator Patrick Brazeau, and Dr. Marie-Claire Sancho with us. And we actually, for the first time, I think, since doing the PubCast, have a little bit of an audience with us today.
Yeah, we have a few people that gathered.
Make some noise, people. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever tried this yet. It's the Corona Sunbrew, 0% alcohol. Oh, God, it's so refreshing. And it's a source of vitamin D.
Yes. Because
0%.
Yes, because as we had announced, our PubCast for the moment is normally, because we are in a pub, and we have a couple of drinks and some food and stuff. But today it is a dry event in honor of the senator and his sobriety, and of course his pursuit to enable the label. Which is currently in the Senate, and we'll talk about more of that during the course of the episode. We have wonderful people here that came from many places to join us, some friends, some family, people that just wanted to support us and that came for the walk with us. We all walked as a group. So thank you so very much, everyone, for having joined us. Your presence makes me very, very, very happy. It fills my heart, especially for our first initiative, that you all answered the call. And it was nice, and we now have we've laid the groundwork for something.
I think so, yeah. Because like I said, we want to do this every year, and I said this year was really super grassroots. We came up with the idea quickly, and let's see if we can make this happen. Make a few phone calls, get a few things together. But we'll look at actually developing a charitable foundation for next year. And we've got a year to plan it, so I'm going to work on some more equipment. So when we do the live walk stream, it'll be even better.
Absolutely. But let's talk to our guests.
Please, yes, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I'm going to, because we've talked to you before, Senator, I'm going to exceptionally let Dr. Sancho go first.
Just twist the mic there.
Where?
Her mic.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Towards. I was just wondering, because you are very, very accomplished in your own right, and this is a subject that is of great interest to you. Yes. So I was wondering if you would like to tell our audience how you come to this the subject, because little known fact, but it was after we did our interview with Senator Brazeau that Dr. Sancho wrote to us and introduced herself to me and mentioned that she had enjoyed our interview. And I asked, is there something that you could recommend that we do more of in the future? And she mentioned that we should focus on men's mental health. And when Kit Pete told us about Walk for a Bloke, and then Mr. Grizzly said, we should do this, immediately popped into my head, well, this would be a great opportunity to get both of you involved, because I know that you had wanted to appear and be able to talk about this. So I was wondering, without going into your studies first, because we'll get to that, but what is it that sort of brought you? Why is this issue resonating with you?
I thank you so much, Doug. And excuse me for my English. If
no, it's fine.
And if you prefer French, that's okay, and I can translate if you like.
I'll franglais.
Franglais, okay.
Ça va être excellent.
So it's interesting that you're asking me, because yesterday I started to think that what's the first thing that got me interested in gender differences and men's needs and mental health. And it was about 20 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that organization that was called Fathers for Justice. It was a long time ago. We saw dads like going up on bridges with flyers saying, I want to see my kids. And I was in my bachelor's, I think it was in my first year, and that really resounded to me. Like, how come dads have to go on bridges to see their kids and what's going on there? And I started to get interested in that and found out that there was very little help dedicated and specialized for men. I remember back then it was on 382 organizations, only 2 were for men. Oh. So I started to get interested in that, and then I focused on emotions and how we prevent boys already at 4 years old to have la compétence émotionnelle.
Okay, emotional competency.
Exactly. Like at 4 years old, we notice the difference between boys and girls. And when we know that it's so important for well-being, life, even promotions. And so how come there's a difference in how we're socializing our boys? And that was my thesis subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what did you find?
So it's interesting. We know that studies showed that families, we have a different way of socializing boys and girls en relation avec les émotions. And what I wanted to know is if we do the same thing in schools. So I went to film. During my PhD, I filmed kindergarten schools and teachers and how they were acting or responding after emotions were expressed from boys and girls. Mm-hmm. And I remember my director telling me, you won't find a big difference. You won't find a big difference. Those are teachers. We know about emotions and importance. And what I found when I did my numbers and my stats is that all emotions together, whether they were negative or positive, teachers responded more negatively to boys.
Really?
So they distract them more, they
I didn't
ignore
know
them
that.
more. They use what we call negative strategy. We're not going to address the emotion like we do more with girls. And that was statistically significative. So
Wow.
it was interesting to find.
And what, I guess, what impact does that have over time on boys?
Well, we can talk about a lot of variables like suicide, which boys 5 times more than girls, le décrochage, la compétence émotionnelle, it's how you understand one's emotion and how you can manage your own emotion. And that's crucial for well-being in life and relationship. I mean, when you describe someone, usually you talk about, he's emotions, he's a nice, patient person, he likes kids, he's funny, well, it's everything, emotions, and it's linked to, as I was saying, to la réussite scolaire, au travail, having good relationship. And sometimes I like to make the point of what we're seeing more and more, les féminicides, like crimes against women. I think that we have to look at how we're raising those babies, because men they start by being babies, and how do we socialize them? How do we act with them? And what don't we do to make them feel that they have rights to have emotions and to be emotional so that's, for me, it's really important, and it's a problem, because every time we talk about those crimes, we never address how we educate boys. And so that's pretty much what I found.
That's troubling.
Yeah.
Very troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where oftentimes we find that men and boys, and young boys especially as they're coming up, they do something wrong, they get scolded and punished. They might not get taught why it was done, why they did, and rarely, if ever, does anybody examine, the reason for doing what they did. And oftentimes it could be a million different things, right? Maybe problems at home, maybe, who knows? But you're right that it's not being treated at the source.
Nope.
And that's bad.
And I had teachers, I did interviews with those teachers, and I had them saying, boys, we need to be tough with them.
No.
Like, still, in 2000, it was in 2022, like, we still have those stereotypes. Teachers still have those stereotypes that we need to act differently with boys. And why are we taking away from them that on les handicapent émotionnellement? That's a strong word, but for me, we handicap our boys by not giving them the luxury of being well with their emotions and learning how to deal with them, and that we're surprised that they commit crimes.
You mentioned earlier when you were talking about décrochage, which is quitting school. Is the rate much higher among boys?
Yeah, so le décrochage, suicide, when you have a mental illness, how you're going to be after, le pronostic, like, it's darker for men.
Okay.
Crimes, prison time, like, most data shows that men are struggling, and the only data that's higher with women, it's getting help. Getting help, men, they come, they're the most troubled and struggling ones, but they're the least to go get help, because it's still shameful. It's still shameful. It's against what we want as masculinity. We want strength. We want autonome. We want so it's a mixed message, and men have to cope with that. And if I can just add one thing, because we were with River, our son.
Yes.
And I was saying during our walk today that River is almost at this age, we call it the boy's turn, where he's going to understand very soon. He's going into school in September. He's going to turn 6. That crying to mommy is not good anymore. He has no right to do that anymore.
Right.
He has no right to show that he's sad when he's hurt. He won't have any right to show that he's scared, because people are going to laugh at us. It's called the boys' code. An author who's named Polak wrote about that. So. Yeah, that's troubling. You're right when you say that.
Yeah, and I can see that what you're saying is having an impact on some of the members of our audience.
Mm-hmm.
That it's resonating. So I think there's some people here that have felt that or have witnessed it from their own eyes before, because it's impactful. So we see you.
Yeah. It's you say that, and I think back to my own childhood, and that was exactly the case. When I was at home, if I had an issue, I could go to my mom and I could cry. I was allowed to be upset, and my mother said, boys can cry. But you get to school, and what do you hear from the teacher? You're a boy, tough, get tough, man up. And that was, I'm 56 in a couple of weeks, so that's quite a long time ago. It's over 50 years ago. But it's still going on today.
Yeah.
We haven't moved an inch in 50 plus years.
And it was filming, it was coding, it was...
Well, here, I was going to just, if you want to slide that mic down, I got another one right here for you. So that way you can each have your own. There you go. Perfect. There.
Senator, during the walk, we had talked about, because something that we have in common is that we both had partners who were doing a PhD while we were with them.
Yes.
Like I said, we know how much work it is. As she is discovering these things through her research, is there light that goes on within you in terms of maybe your experience as a child or what you've seen happen to children within your community?
Well, actually, in terms of some of the data that she came up with, I quickly saw myself as a man with respect to many of the things that she just mentioned. Because like you, when I was young, I was taught to be tough, to sort of suck it up, walk it off when I had problems, and no, not to show emotion, because showing emotion was a demonstration of weakness. Mm-hmm. And certainly, your friends let you know you were weak if you dared to cry about something and whatnot. And that also came up in adult life when I personally started having my own problems, and
mm-hmm.
I was ashamed to go ask for help. I didn't even think about that as an option to go ask for help. I hid it inside for so many years, and I was hurting inside, and it's only when I took that first step and seeking help that things slowly there started to change personally for me. But certainly with respect to everything my partner has just mentioned with respect to how boys are being socialized, I mean, we're trying to break the stigma, we're trying to end the stigma and to break through barriers, but unfortunately they still exist. And so this is why I found it very important and I felt very honored to participate in this initial men's mental health walk, because it's important, because throughout the last several decades, I feel, and this is a personal view that I have, is that I feel that many men are asking, what role do they have in society today? Mm-hmm. Because being Algonquin, being First Nations, First Nations men had a clear, defined role as to what we did in the family, mm-hmm. and that has changed. And even today, even the most strong and men that we have out there, they have problems too, and it's time to end the stigma. And I'm going to participate in this event if re-invited for many years to come, because it is important. It's time that we change the dial on some of the things that we say, because we shouldn't be pitted men against women. No. We are all here together, and if we have healthier men, well, thank you for that. But if we have healthier men, we will have healthier families.
Yes.
We will have less crimes. We will have less domestic violence, less suicides. Because, like she mentioned, this is something that's also near and dear to my heart. Because I tried to commit suicide on two different occasions because I was having problems. Mm-hmm. And we know that 75% of suicides in Canada are committed by men and young boys, and there's a crisis in Indigenous suicides in Canada. And so if 75% of suicides are committed by men, well, it's time that we start looking at programs and services for the benefit of men, because right now we know that province-wide and countrywide, compared to what's available for women in terms of services, we're completely not at par.
We have
Oh, yes.
we have another guest in the green room. I'm going to bring him in now, just because I'm the only one who can sort of monitor all this.
Yes.
So we're going to bring another guest in.
Absolutely. And it's great that you mentioned it at this time, because
Yes.
in our conversations with this guest, he was mentioning that same thing, that he was, in this day and age, it's sometimes hard to talk about doing something for men, because pretty much in every aspect of life, men get all the attention, probably with the exception of this one. And he was making the point exactly that, it's like when we're doing this, for example, if there's a issue of domestic violence, because, will we have services to take the children out of that situation, to take the female spouse out of that situation, and we provide services for them, but then we say to the man, like, okay, now lock him up and throw away the key, because we don't work. But like, even if we did that, this is not going to be a life sentence thing. Someone is going to get out at some point like this,
And they've learned nothing in the process.
Yeah, and if you learn nothing in the process, if you've only been punished and there's been no rehabilitation, you learn no other life skills, no coping skills, no what like this, all you're doing is delaying time, releasing that problem, and then unleashing it back again on the community. And you don't want to do that, so we need action at both sides. It's like, if we're talking economics, it's, you need demand and supply side. Well, it's the same thing here, right? If you're doing, you can't fully protect women and children unless we are raising better men. And we're giving men the tools, because, and even it's like, and even if you did not have the opportunity to be raised in such a way where you're emotionally aware, and alert, to say, well, you didn't get it before the age of 6, so you are not allowed to get it anymore. You're just done. You're beyond hope. Because that sends one hell of a message to people. So with us, and we're very happy to have this guest. He is the founder and the executive director of a program called Men of the North, based in Larange, Saskatchewan. And yes, while June happens to be Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, it is also Indigenous Peoples History Month as well. And this is an Indigenous-led organization. We are very, very, very happy to have him on the show. And they've been doing some wonderful things in Larange today to be able to celebrate our event. So kids and cubs, please put your paws up and give a big round of applause for Mr. Christopher Morasti. Hello, sir.
Can you hear us?
We see you.
Don't know if we can. Oh, something happening
Can you hear
there.
us?
There we go.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
How are you?
It looks like we might have a bit of a connection issue on your end. Yeah, you're coming in. It's just breaking up a little bit.
Okay, this way. Let me hardwire it in.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear now.
Yep.
Oh, you're doing a wireless one, so you're going to go to hardwire? Yeah, that'll make a difference. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
That's better.
And we can hear you a little bit better now, too.
Okay, can you guys hear us better?
Yeah,
Yes, we
much
can.
better.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hey, everyone.
Good day.
Oh, great. Could you give us an idea of what's been going on in your neck of the woods? You've had a lot going on today. The whole community got involved, I know.
Yeah, so we had a walk today. We started at 12 o'clock in the awareness for men's mental health today. We had a very successful turnout. Lots of people came out and walked with us. And we also gave everybody a pair of shoes for coming out to walk with us today.
Oh, fantastic.
We had a really, really fantastic turnout today.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I hear that you also had some collaboration with a participation event that was going on as well.
Yes, yeah. So there's a participation event happening for the month of June here in the town of Larange. I think that it's going right across Saskatchewan, maybe across Canada. I'm not 100% sure, but the most active community out there wins $100,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
registered this walk for that, and I got a lot of good video, I got a lot of good photos, and we hope to post them here momentarily.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Fantastic.
So it's great because then it's like, pardon me.
You get the coffee.
Sorry. It's all holistic health then in this case.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we're about. It's more of that holistic stuff. Not only coming in and talking about our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, our anger issues, but it's also engaging into more community functions and events by finding your purpose and trying different activities, different opportunities, different events, volunteering your time, supports and services to help others. And I think that's where a lot of men need to find their purpose. It's not in books. Well, I guess it kind of is in books, but it's more onto getting out there and offering your support and services to help others. It's about giving back. It's not about taking.
Right.
You get more out of giving back than you do taking.
Oh,
And
I agree.
other people could understand that the importance of giving back and helping out others when and where they can. Man, there's just going to be a lot of changes within the individuals of themselves. So that's where we're at. We're trying to help men to find their purpose and providing tools and supports and services to help them. That way they're successful in their life.
Fantastic.
Yes. We have a couple of guests with us today. As we mentioned, we have Senator Patrick Brazeau with us.
Hi, Christopher.
How you doing, sir?
Very good. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, for sure. When are you guys coming up to La Ronge?
Well, I think unfortunately it'll only be in September.
Nice. Hey, at least we got a date. You know, it doesn't have to happen right away. And if we can get you to come up here and see what we're doing here in La Ronge, and hopefully that we can look at working together and build that collaboration and helping us grow and get us to the point where we need to be sustainable, successful, and bring this program right across Canada.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're right there with you on that one, buddy.
Yes. And we will definitely be having you on the show one-on-one to talk a little bit more. But could you give our audience a brief overview of what it is that you do with Men of the North and why the program exists?
Yeah, so what we do here at Men of the North is that we have a support system in place that helps men to come in to speak about their truth, about their insecurities, sometimes about their vulnerabilities in a nice, safe environment for them to engage more fruitfully, more meaningful with others within the community. And then we also provide areas of opportunity for them to come and engage with the family as a whole. So volunteering their time, supports and services. And then we also have games night for the guys that come in and relax. We all have a support center right here in the downtown area of La Ronge, where guys can come in and hang out, get into some online education, some online training, mindful meditation practices, group therapy, some one-on-one counseling, some one-on-one life coaching, as well as support and volunteering their services and time. Also engaging into what they like to do. So utilizing their services and their skills and implementing that at 110%. So that way it's helping them grow, it's helping them to be successful, it's helping them to gain the courage and confidence for their success, and making sure that they're not going to be resorting to drugs, to alcohol, to violence, all that stuff. And so we hope that
I was going to say, let's get your program right across the country. Every community, city, name it. It needs to be everywhere. It really does, because there's just the services just aren't available for men. They really aren't. Somebody was asking me earlier when we were doing the walk, because we live streamed the walk, and somebody asked me, he says, "What kind of services are there for men in Ottawa?" I'm like, "Well, the Royal Ottawa Hospital, And I can't think of anything else, to be honest with you. Now, I know that they do have some counseling services at shelters, but that's not going to help me because I'm not in a shelter, and I can't go to a shelter to get mental health services because that's just not right. I'm taking from somebody else. So it's like I can go to my doctor. I'm lucky enough to have a doctor because, as you know, many people don't right now. But when it comes to resources in this city, I know the Royal Ottawa, and that's it. And the Royal Ottawa caters to everyone. And it's a great place. Don't get me wrong. They just rebuilt it a few years back. It's a beautiful new building, and they have wonderful services, and they help so many people. It's incredible. They do great work in the community. And I know friends who have spent time there and said, it saved my life. And I'm so happy the resource was there. But if it's just guys who need to go and talk and do what, look for the things that you have, like a good, safe space where we can come communicate what we're feeling. We don't really have that. It's not a thing. I suppose I could go to like an AA meeting, but that's, it's not a resource that I need. So, you know what I mean? It's difficult when the choice just isn't there. There's just not much.
Yeah.
And again, I could go to an AA meeting, sure, and to be happy to let you. But it's like, you're not talking about alcohol. I go, no, but I have mental health issues. I've got nowhere else to go. And again, that's not catering for men either. That again is for everybody. And that's wonderful. And it's a good program and it helps a lot of people. But we need something that helps men and help men identify with what they're feeling, what they're going through, the emotions that they feel, openly talk about their mental health, like you said, their insecurities. We just don't have it. And this is Canada's capital. This is the capital city of this country. We need to have something like that here. Now, if somebody tells me I'm wrong and I've missed something, I'd be happy to be proven wrong. I would be gloriously happy if somebody could say, no, Paul, you're wrong. Here's where it is. But I don't know about it. And that's a problem too. If the service exists, how do I not know about it?
Exactly. And I think that's where we're sorely lacking in the supports of them themselves. I work with a lot of gentlemen that were incarcerated, and most of the times is I hear that I have to go to jail to find programming.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised in the least. I have friends who worked in corrections and told me that point blank. They were guidance counselors that worked in corrections and helped with, finding programs. But it was like, there's just nothing available.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that even as a First Nation-led organization here is that we have daily smudge ceremonies, we have twice a week drum practice, Cree lessons, we have monthly sweat lodge ceremonies. So it's all activities to engage them and their families and be a part of, and it's free of charge. You don't have to go to jail to find all this programming, and it's right here in the downtown area of Orange.
Senator, for those of us in the audience who are not Indigenous, why would those types of things, like for example, access to sweat lodges and these types of, why would that be really meaningful?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest reasons is that, contrary to popular belief, there is a suicide crisis in Indigenous communities. And the reason there's a crisis is because for many generations, people were sent to residential schools. Right. They were emotionally, physically, sexually, psychologically abused. And so who in their right mind would believe that those individuals who went to those schools, went on and became good parents, good individuals, good role models for their kids, and those kids, it's just a vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of, I don't want to get political here, but a lot of governments talk about reconciliation with First Nations people. Well, hold on. Yes, let's get to reconciliation, but there's a reparation phase that needs to take place.
Agreed.
You can't just send these individuals to schools and to abuse them and to rape them and etc. and then believe that they're going to be good, solid members of society.
Yeah. Right.
They need help. And so we have to break down these stereotypes that First Nations people are this or that, or they're drunks. And yes, a lot of people go to these substances because we are trying to forget our problems and the pain that we feel inside. And so it's not just the indigenous peoples who go to substances. It's writ large. A lot of men go to substances because they're not feeling well. And so when we are talking about men's mental health, I personally believe, we also have to start having a conversation on those substances and alcohol in particular, because we cannot talk about good men's mental health and having men go towards alcohol to solve their problems, because it simply does not happen.
No, it just it makes the problem worse. Right?
Exactly.
And because alcohol is a depressant, so if you're feeling depressed and you are suffering from depression, you're adding fuel to the fire.
And let's not forget, if for example, and I personally, I'm talking from personal experience. Well, if I was having a problem back in the day, and I would approach a friend of mine, well, my friend we wouldn't get deep into the discussions about how I'm feeling. It's, hey, let's go have a drink and then let's get drunk. Well, that didn't fix the problem either. Actually, it made it worse, because when I woke up the next day, I still had my problem. I had just consumed a lot of alcohol, and well, let's rinse and repeat, and so that's how the days would start again. And so we have to start having those real discussions. And obviously, I say that saying that alcohol does not affect everybody in the same way, but when we're talking about good men's mental health, we have to start talking about substances as well.
Yeah,
agreed.
And
fully agreed.
Yeah, through the Lonely Man Project here, we have some statistics, and it says when it comes to Indigenous men, that Canadian Indigenous men have a suicide rate that's double that of the Canadian national average. And if we're talking about Inuit men, then it's 11 times the national average.
Well, Canada, that we love so much, and such a great country, but Canada is home to some of the highest suicide rates in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Inuit communities, because some of them, because we did do a research project study on suicide prevention in the Senate last year, but there's some Inuit communities that have 27 times higher rates of suicide than non-Indigenous peoples. 27. And so all the experts across the country dealing with suicide prevention say, look, folks, there's nothing to see here, because suicide rates have not increased. But if we extrapolate all the Indigenous suicides in Canada, there is a crisis here. But unfortunately, it's not enough of a crisis in the eyes of many politicians, regardless of their color across this country.
Yeah, for sure. It's not made, the awareness is not there, especially when it comes to suicide. Another thing I've been noticing too is the amount of men going missing and murdered. And who's blowing the whistle on this? So it's all these types of things where we're not creating that awareness and helping men to a nice support system or support network that will help them to be more secure and successful wherever they're at. We just had recently two individuals there unfortunately succumbed to alcohol addiction or alcohol poisoning just this week here in our community. And that suicide rates are just continuing to skyrocket because individuals are not hanging themselves or shooting themselves, but taking other substances and going that route, is that there isn't any whistles being called on that. And I think that we need to definitely create more awareness and helping and making sure that there's support systems like this far and wide. So that way it opens up the doors for more healthier conversations. So that way we're not seeing a lot of these young men and men in particular not going towards alcohol and drugs as a force to relieve and suppress many of the pain and suffering on which they might be encountering from time to time.
Dr. Sancho, Mr. Morasti had mentioned earlier on talking about, part of the point of these programs is to reconnect men with their purpose.
Yes.
Yes. In your studies, have you found something that relates to what happens when men sort of like either feel their traditional role isn't there, and they, like, for example, they feel they have no purpose, or when they were doing something and something's removed from them, and then all of a sudden they don't know what to do anymore?
Yeah. Well, Patrick was saying we have to refine an identity, a role. And I think that it's not only Indigenous men, but I think when the provider label kind of fell, when women went in the workspace, well, men were left with no role for themselves. And I think that there's an identity crisis. In literature, it was called the boys' turn. It was 15 years ago. A few authors started there to talk about boys and men, because I wanted to congratulate you also, because it's not a popular subject. It's not a sexy subject.
No,
it's not. There's not a lot of grants for men. It's like and Patrick said it a bit before. It's like if we when we give to men, we take away from women. It's not a competition. We have to fight for both genders. So I think that there's an identity to be found. And when you talk about traditional role, I remember we met with Professor Whitley. I think that was
Robert Whitley, yes.
That did studies about how you had to propose different ways than with women. Of course, what will work with men, and we don't have a lot of data on that, because not a lot of studies has taken interest in boys and men. So, and I think that Whitley had demonstrated in one of his studies that what seemed to work the most was when men kind of regain that traditional, or a little bit with I was hearing before. Remember that study with the traditional, when he took the men in forests, for example,
Yes.
or when
Just to reconnect them back to the culture, practices, traditional practices.
Yeah. So reconnecting with land-based learning and.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
But if I could just interject a little
Yes,
bit,
please.
Sure.
just to give you an example, last year, like I mentioned, we did a study for suicide prevention study, and two of the major recommendations was for the government to acknowledge that there was an Indigenous crisis in Canada, and two, that given the fact that 75% of suicides are committed by men, that they must focus or reshift their focus towards having more programming for the benefit of men and young boys. And about 3 weeks ago, the current federal government, responded, and they provided an action plan for the next 3 years. And unfortunately, one, they never mentioned the Senate study, and two, they didn't even mention the word men and young boys. And so I immediately told them that if you're serious about reducing the number of suicides in Canada, you have to target men and young boys.
Right.
If you don't, it's
That's
going
where
to be
they're
the
happening.
same statistics in 10 years. And I will be the one to tell you in 10 years, because hopefully I'll still be there because of my health. But in 10 years, nothing's going to change. And so until a serious government is going to tackle this issue, nothing is going to change. But that's why we are all here collectively trying to apply this kind of needed pressure that's so desperately required, I believe.
Well, this is this comment from Saucy Seawitch, one of our viewers in Nova Scotia, who is one of the most astute people I've ever encountered. It's just fascinating that women are being bombarded with being able to have it all, but in reality we can't, and how men have lost the role in the hierarchy. We need to build support for communities as a whole. She's right.
and I think that men have a role that needs to be more valued with children.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Like every study shows, like the income when dads are home or dads are present, and we don't value the roles of men in families anymore.
I think that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's changing incrementally with younger generations. Because I've seen, like, my wife and I were out for a walk one night in her neighborhood, and there was two young guys, both like hipster-looking dudes with long beards, out walking their babies, and these were infants, like babies, and we looked at one another and said, just sort of a fist bump, like, cool, they're involved. I like that.
I think it is with the new generation.
Yes.
But I heard results lately from a study was on the radio. Actually, they were saying 75% of men are very worried when there's a separation of having the same rights, having a role to play in the decision taking. Like, how come they're second? How come they're not
in family
next
law.
to us? Yeah, exactly. Like, there's still a lot. Like, when you ask me what works for men, what kind of program works, we don't know. We don't do study. Definitely not what we do with women necessarily. They don't need the same thing, but we need to figure out what works with them.
It's like how many men go through divorces? How many men have failed relationships? How many men go through parental alienation? How many men, have trouble with their current job or have lost a job? Well, those are all the men that, are prime candidates for that suicide prevention. And so, a lot of men get divorced, but a lot of the population thinks, well, the man, just goes elsewhere, looks elsewhere, and is tough, and don't go through hardship through divorce. But that's not true.
No, it's not true.
And not being able to see your kids after a separation or divorce, like you used to see them, and in the role that you used to do, well, that's often changed after separation, and that affects the man as well. And so, where do we fit in? Because we all want to fit in. We want all to fit in, to contribute. And so I think therein lies the question that we need to figure out what exactly is our role, because like Dr. Sancho mentioned, like, women came into the workplace, and now women can have children without without the physical presence of a man. And so same thing with children. Usually it's more the woman who will have the custody. And so, what's our role now? Where are we? And so that's what we need to figure out as men, in the next little while. And so we have to take advantage of that and try to make the best of it.
Christopher, have you noticed in the years that you've been operating Men of the North, things that have yielded some positive changes?
Yes, yeah. All the recognition to the left of myself here, and a lot of these men came through our doors on the verge of suicide. Going through going through all of that type of stuff, to now working full time. Some of them are starting up their own businesses. Some already started up their own businesses. Some are raising their children full time, and it's just getting that support and being a part of a healthy, strong community as such, to give them the confidence and the courage and the strength that they need to gain control of their own lives and start living a nice, healthy path where they can establish and regain their children and build those connections.
Oops. I think we got a glitch in the system there. Sometimes. There we go. You're back.
We're back. Sorry, my matter is a little spotty.
That's all right.
Worries.
Whoops.
Lots of
Now, I noticed that you have some wonderful support behind you as well.
Yes.
It's nice to see. So thank you. I don't know if everybody else can hear as well, but thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate that you're there. It means a lot to us. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see people get behind the initiative. So you had the walk today. A lot of people joined. You had the.
We have some folks here in the in the pub that joined us
as
today
well.
too.
Yeah, and then you had Mr. Moressi's waving hello to everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, okay. There you go. So overall, because you were able to bring several components together in the community together to make this event bigger than just the walk, could you tell us, for example, how those shoes came about?
Yeah, so we got reached out through a justice fund out of Toronto that we get a lot of our large portion of our funding through North Pine Foundation, formerly Incarcerated Persons Program. Sarah Destinger, who is the director of that area, reached out to us, told us that she has all these shoes that want to be donated to us. So they sent it up to us here in La Ronge. I picked them up about a month and a half ago, and we're doing community initiatives like this where people can get involved, come in and get a pair of shoes, and away they go.
Nice.
Fantastic.
I like that.
Right. Well, sir, we're gonna. I know that you're busy over there and that you've done a lot, so we're gonna thank you so much for joining us today. Saying hello to everyone. Miigwech, everybody.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3, hands in the door. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. And
Love it. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for your guys' time and including us in this 5K walk and talk, and we hope to do it again next year.
All
Yes,
right,
we will.
fantastic. Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you in a few weeks on the show so that you could talk to our audience more one-on-one.
100%. Love it.
All right. Thank
Take
you
care.
so much. We loved everything that you've done. Thank you for joining in so enthusiastically and helping us make this really an event that wasn't just happening here, but elsewhere as well. We are so grateful, and this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So we hope
think so.
everything in the spirit of friendship. We hope that we'll be able to work with you a whole lot more and get to know you. And who knows, maybe one day we'll even get to come and visit.
100%. Yeah, you guys come on up. We'll go over there. You guys come over here. Love it.
Works for me.
Works for us.
Take care.
You too, Patrick. We'll see you later.
Okay, see ya. Well, that was cool.
They were the first, and we have to. Oh, Debbie's not here. Oh, darn.
She's on her way back.
Okay, because Senator, your staff has been absolutely amazing. They've been a delight to deal with, like from the get-go, from when we were setting up the interview with you, and then afterwards we wrote out of the blue, and Debbie and Michelle. If it weren't for them, this wouldn't have happened. So we owe them a lot.
They are wonderful.
Yes, and it says a lot about the culture you created in your
absolutely.
office as well. So, but we wanted to give a shout out because there's a lot of people that do things quietly, like this, and in the shadows. It would seem like this for things like this to happen, and often they don't get the credit, the recognition they deserve, and so, every drop in diddle adds to the pot, and everybody does their part. And without the contribution of everyone, it doesn't work, and it doesn't happen so well. So we're very, very grateful because they're the ones who put us in contact with Men of the North, and we talked to them. And I think it took 5 seconds for Mr. Morassi to decide that he was in, and I think it was like a couple hours later he said, "Yep, there's a walk organized, and here's our route." And
I was like,
wow. It's like, we haven't even picked our route yet.
This guy's on the ball.
We have to start somewhere, and that's how it happens.
Yeah.
And to that end, if I just may, on behalf of
Yes.
my partner and myself, I'd like to thank you both for having us and for
It was a
inviting
pleasure.
us to be here. But just so you know as well, I'm working with the leading expert in men's mental health in Canada.
Oh,
His
really?
name is Dr. Rob Whitley, and he's
Okay.
out of McGill University, out of Montreal, and he helped me a lot to be able to contribute to the suicide prevention study that we did about a year ago. And so next November, every November, there's the International Men's Mental Health Day, I believe. And
Okay.
Didn't know
so
about this.
we are currently working on setting something together for November.
Okay.
I'm not too sure what it's going to look like and whatnot, but we just in the previous stages of planning this, and so we will certainly let you know.
Please do. Yeah, we'd like to be able to
Yeah.
take part.
If we can
Really
help
would.
in any way, you can count on us.
Yeah.
And we will have Dr. Whitley on our show on Friday the 20th as well.
Oh, great.
We'll be able to hear from him as well. He's agreed. He was had to go participate in the event in Newfoundland on the 13th, so he wasn't available to be with us
I
today
see.
on the walk.
Well, that's great. He's a great man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Dr. Senator, thank you so much for answering the call. Thank you for accepting the invitation. we are really flattered.
Thank you. Your kindness and
we're humbled by
your time that you've donated to us today to come out with us on this little, very grassroots thing that we're trying to build and trying to create the awareness and let people know. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And I
thank
want
you
the
for all
kids.
the work you do behind, and
Yeah.
very important.
And I want the kids to know too, because this is important. It's not like the senator and the doctor, said, we said like show up like just at 3:00 for this time, like and spend an hour, just give us 20 minutes of their time. Like they've been with us since noon today.
Yes, they did the 5K walk with us. We did talk about that earlier.
Like they came for the whole walk. They were here while we were setting up for this, and talking to our other guests and whatnot.
It's not a photo op.
It was not.
They're committed
it's not
to
just
this.
I'm from Maniwaki. I'm as grassroots as they get.
Exactly. Exactly.
Before we go, could you just give us an update on where the Enabled Label initiative is, and maybe for our new guests, what it is about? They weren't there for the interview.
Sure. So my bill S254 is currently before a Senate committee waiting to be studied, and that would be to put some labels on all alcoholic products in Canada, warning them of 7 fatal cancers. And so hopefully this bill will be, this issue will be studied in the fall. But having said that, we are currently working as well on a second bill dealing with alcohol, and that would be to prevent all advertising of alcohol in Canada. And so, there's a big chance that this second bill regarding alcohol will be really ready to be introduced in the Senate of Canada.
You're going to be in for a big fight for that one, eh?
Yes.
Especially here in Ontario, where what our premier has recently done.
Well, unfortunately, some people will see that as a fight against the alcohol companies, but no,
it's not.
It's a fight for greater access to all consumers, because 80% of Canadians drink alcohol, so there's consumers, but it's not to the benefit of all Canadians, and it's just like what we did with the tobacco companies, and so it's not to reinvent the wheel. It's just to provide more information so people could make better informed choices for themselves, which will lead to better health.
Better health. That's right. That's the big thing.
And we all should know what it is that we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and exactly. What was it, Angela Mayu? You do the best you can with what you know, but when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
I find most of humanity, not all, but most of humanity, I'd say probably 80% of Canadians anyway, when given the information about a thing, whatever that thing is, they tend to make the choice that benefits the community better. So, it doesn't matter what the thing is, but if you're given all the information about, maybe we shouldn't drive on the opposite side of the road to the oncoming traffic. Let's not do that, right? Yes. I mean, I'm trying to make a hyperbolic statement here, but most Canadians, I think, if given information when it comes to making decisions, they tend to make the right one.
Well, look, with the fight with the tobacco companies, that lasted about 20 to 25 years, and I don't think it's going to take this long with alcohol, because aside from the 7 fatal cancers that it does cause, it doesn't take a rocket science to know all the other negative aspects that alcohol, unfortunately, creates. Yeah. We talk about domestic violence, we talk about DUIs, we talk about accidents, we talk about deaths, we talk about little injuries that people have on a daily basis, etc., etc., etc. And so once we start this conversation slowly, very slowly, like you said, people open their ears, tend to listen, and they end up making the best choices. But sometimes that takes time, and while it takes time, we just need a little bit of patience.
Well, and like today, for example, there was a time in my life, if you had said you're going to be drinking and liking non-alcoholic beer when you get older, I would have said you're out of your mind. I enjoy this a great deal. Guinness Zero, I absolutely love, because it tastes just like a Guinness, but it doesn't have the alcohol.
Can I have that for a second?
Yeah.
Like, this is a non-alcoholic beer, right?
Right.
But on the back, there's a warning.
Yeah.
And it says, do not exceed more than 2 per day.
Yeah.
Why do they say not to drink more than 2 of these per day? Well, the reason is because they add vitamin D.
Yeah, it's too much.
So don't have too much of your vitamin D today, but hey, for an alcoholic drink, Well, there are no warnings.
Yeah.
There are no ingredients.
Yeah.
It's highly addictive, and we know all the negative things it could bring. But let's not put any warnings, because
Makes no
we
sense.
give alcohol companies in Canada a free pass.
We do. And in the United States of America, they have. I remember the last time I was down in the U.S., I was sitting at a bar and I looked at the beer and it said, could cause this type of cancer. And I went, what? I didn't know this. I was like, why do we not have this in Canada? And nutrition facts on food items in this country is a relatively new thing. It was like that in the U.S. for probably 40 years before it ever happened here. And I'm like, don't we have, Health Canada? We have the Canada Food Guide. We have universal health care. Don't you think it would be in the government's interest to make that labeling mandatory when it's a public health system,
Well, this is for perhaps another interview and another day.
Yeah.
But Canada has a minimum of a $6 billion alcohol deficit. So that means after all the revenues come into provincial governments and federal government for the alcohol sales in Canada,
tax, yeah.
well, it still costs taxpayers $6 billion. And so when we're looking at alcohol, we have a $6 billion alcohol deficit, and fiscally responsible premiers talking about alcohol sales. Well, where is their fiscal responsibility when there's a $6 billion alcohol deficit? But hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have any problems with our health care, but it's okay to have a $6 billion deficit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, we'll definitely we'll have you on again for another conversation.
Yes.
A little different from this one, but yeah, absolutely, because I like that. I like what you just told me. I didn't know that.
Yes.
And it doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that before. So yeah. Today I learned, right? Today I learned.
Right. And Doctor, we'll also have you one-on-one as well, so we can
Would love
talk more
it.
about your
Would love
research.
it.
Yes,
It would be
please.
absolutely
Thank you so much.
Right. So thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Debbie, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Mr. Grizzly, I'm going to let you hold down the fort, and I'll make sure
Yeah,
that walker
okay. You
gets
take
out,
care of
and then I'll
everybody.
be right.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Until
Fantastic.
next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I'm going to.
No, we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Whoa, no, we're not done yet.
No, we're not done yet. I'm just going to hold things down here for a few minutes while Mr. Beaver takes care of everybody. So I'm just going to zoom it in on me a little bit here so you can catch this. Yeah. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to have a further in-depth conversation in the future with the senator, and at some point in time we'll have a separate in-person conversation with his lovely wife, because she's a learned individual that I can learn a lot from. And if you know me and you know anything about me, you know I like to learn, because knowledge is power. And I'm not the smartest or sharpest knife in the drawer, but if I can learn something, it's always a pleasure. And it's always making my life a little bit better. So we have a few people here are bidding their adieus and farewells for the day. So I'll continue to keep this going. I think we have Toronto Dan. Is Toronto Dan in the? Yes, he is. I'm going to bring Toronto Dan in for a couple minutes. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, you're a little distorted on your mic there, bud. A little bit of distortion. Not sure what happened there, but you might have to jump in and out again. But no worries. I'll give you a chance while you get that rectified, and I'm going to tell everybody a story because it does relate to mental health, and it relates. You know what? I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I was going to tell you a story about myself, but you know what? I'm not really ready to talk about that yet. At least not in a very public forum like this, and it would bring everybody down. And you know what? I'm actually feeling really good right now, which is why I'd be able to make that discussion. Thank you. Why I'd be able to have that discussion, but I want to stay in a good mood, and I want to keep you fine folks in a good mood. It is. It's, what are we today? June 15th. Oh, yes, tomorrow is Father's Day. That's right. Adjust my microphone here. There we go. So, yeah, everybody is saying their farewells and bidding everybody adieu, and I'll just hold things down here for a few more minutes while we tell some stories. And, yeah, I was prepared to tell you something, but now that I think about it, it's kind of like, no. I don't think so. I'm not ready for that yet. And again, like I said, it would bring the temperature of the room down. And right now, the temperature of the room is just right. It's just perfect. And we'd like to keep it that way. So let's talk about some silly things we've done in the past. And I was out at the football game the other night. Take care. Out at the football game the other night with a buddy of mine. We were talking about how I said, can you still believe that we stood in the end zone on the field during the East Final in 2003 in the Big O? Because my buddies were working for the Renegades, and the Renegades at the time, since now they're the Red Blacks and different ownership, different team. But I said, can you believe that we did that? He's like, no. And I was the guy who made that arrangement. Well, I had friends who worked for the Alouettes too, but it still was mind-blowing to me that we were just standing in the end zone on the field, hanging out, watching the game, enjoying ourselves. Oh, and here's the best part, which is hilarious. It's Montreal after all, so I'm standing on the field, the end zone. Ben Cahoon catches a pass right in front of us, scores a touchdown. We're drinking a beer. Ben Cahoon's just like walked away. It was a crazy moment in my life, and it was fun to reminisce with my buddy about that, because we go back about 30 plus years, and the last, COVID threw everything into a tailspin. And we were talking. I said, "When was the last time we went out together?" And he says, "I don't know. Was it this?" And I said, "No. We went to a Sens home opener. It was the Leafs and the Sens, and was that in? Oh my God, that was October of 2021. So it had been 3 years since we'd seen each other. We'd chatted a couple of times, but we hadn't seen each other in all that time. And that's one of the things that COVID's done to us, right? It's changed we used to get together with a big group of people. You had your big group of friends, and you'd get together with different people all the time. And one of the things I've noticed is that your group is probably still the same people, but the people that you see on a sort of semi-regular basis has shrunk way down. And I don't think I'm alone in that. Dan, you're back. Let's see if you got some sound here. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me? Yeah, still can't hear you. Just
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, there you are. How's it going?
Can you hear clearly?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, holy shit, man. You guys are amazing, man. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. That was,
This,
we were two incredible guests today, too.
oh, man, I tried to get in there. Like, every single story he was sharing was bang on, man. Bang on. And again, like we've all repeated all day, this is the only way you get to help others and try to get through your own shit is if you share, right?
You're cutting out, bud. I'll have another one of those, please. Thank you. Sorry, you're cutting out a bit there, Dan. I don't know what's going on. Bad connection today, I guess. But thanks, man. I'm glad we sounded like we were doing something good today. That was the whole idea behind it. I wanted to try and make a small difference if we could. That was our goal, and I think we were able to do that. At least raise some awareness. I don't know what the final numbers are on the live stream for the walk. I'll check them later. I think we're up to almost 1,000 viewers at one point. So it's entirely possible that the message is getting spread. Now, our I don't know how many viewers, how many subscribers we've got on YouTube now. I think it's 2,100 or something. And for some reason, I can't even reach the YouTube page. It says, connect to the internet. You're offline. Check your connection. I know I'm not offline because we're broadcasting a show. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I can figure that out later. Okay, there's Dan. He's back again. Let's see here. I'll bring you up, buddy. Just a second. We'll try one more time. How you doing?
Last try. What's going on, man?
There we go. Now I can hear you loud and clear. I don't know what happened there. It just sort of cut out. The audio cut right out, and then you disappeared for a minute or two. So, but as long as we're...
It might be my phone. I had a little incident downtown Toronto yesterday, and my phone kind of got destroyed, so it might be that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so in case you didn't hear me, man, straight up, amazing to you guys. Kudos to you, Douglas, your better halves. The senator, I'm very well aware of. I do a lot of politics, as you know, and his story is just amazing. And so the way he just stepped up today with his family, pardon my French, but fucking A, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, agreed. Good guy. His wife's a lovely person. It was a charming to meet her finally, because we'd been talking about it in the past. But it was great to meet her. And his youngest son was with us today. He's really adorably cute, but very shy, and wanted to see and hang out with Lola, but was a little nervous about it because the dog is bigger than him. So I get that.
I don't think my dog's bigger than anybody, you know what I mean? And I saw him pop in there for a second, and kudos to the family there of the senator for bringing him in to show him what's has an experience what we're doing here, because that's why I stayed quiet today. Each and everything that each of you said today, whether it be on the walk or in this podcast right now, bang on, man. Bang on. A lot of you know my story, right? And it's just, I went a different path and I had some issues going on. So the fact that we can all share different, try to help each other, that's fucking amazing, man.
Well, and that's the goal. That's the idea behind all of this, is to try and help one another. Get everybody to reach out and connect when and where we can. It looks like we lost Dan again. He's having some phone issues. No worries. But yeah, that's the whole point of this. Let's reach out. Let's connect with each other. Let's get our community together and help one another. And ultimately, it's the best thing we can do for each other. I mean, I think so anyway. You tell me. But if we don't help each other, well, and if we choose to go down the selfish path of, well, I got mine, you're on your own, well, it doesn't help anybody. It certainly doesn't help your situation. It won't help mine. And it'll just create more problems. And so many things we talked about today with the senator, we talked about with Bill the other day, was that so many issues in society today stem from men with mental health issues that they don't even know they have. Depression being the big one, the big one. The anxiety is another one. What we label that as panic attacks, and nobody wants to ever have a panic attack, but they happen. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you how to fix that. I can tell you to seek a doctor, and maybe medication will work for you. Maybe it won't. I don't know. You have to choose your own path when it comes to that. But like I said, so many problems in society today. A great many of them are, related to men doing bad things. They oftentimes have very much to do with mental health issues. That's the stem. That's the issue right there. Let's see if we can bring Dan back in. How you doing, sir? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. If it's my phone, my bad, but I can hear you clearly, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, no, every point you hit on today is bang on, right? So I'll just give you a quick example. Hopefully I can get this quick story out. What's that name of that jazz place again of yours down on Queen Street?
Jazz on Queen Street? Oh,
the
Rex. The Rex. Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday as I was trying to prepare to come and meeting with my friend there, I happened to be crossing the street on the southwest corner of University and Queen there. And to make the long story short, I got shoulder tackled from behind. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? So in a split second of 5 seconds or whatever, you're making all those choices and decisions. And I was like, what's going on? So stupid me, and I hope my mom's not listening, but stupid me chased after the guy. And here I was in the middle of University and Queen Street with a broken phone. I was pissed off. This guy just shoulder tapped me. What the hell's going on? I grabbed him by the back of the scruff. And as soon as he turned around, and this is the reason why I'm sharing this, as soon as he turned around, because of my training and my experience in the shelters and being homeless and shit, I could tell he was going through an issue.
Right.
I let go of the scruff of his collar there.
Yeah.
I said, I used some expletives and, what the F, did you do that to my phone, yada, yada. He goes, I'm sorry, they told me to. And I looked around like a smartass, and I said, they told you to? Who they? He goes, sorry, man, they told you to. I'll pay for your phone. I said, buddy, keep going down Queen Street. Check into the first emergency you run into, which is St. Mike's, and get some, pardon my language, and get some fucking help.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if that gentleman actually did that, because look what he did at the corner there, right? I'm fine. I'm physically fine and everything. But it just goes to show you, when men's mental health issues especially get let go too long, there's no recourse after a certain point. There's no recourse. There's nothing you can do. So this is the best thing you can do, is share. I've told you guys 1,000 times before. I got the attention span of a church.
He's having some phone issues. No, you're right though. Sharing, which is the whole thing behind my ASMR chat, mental health chat, is to share and share what we're going through, and share some tips and tricks on how to manage your mental health and manipulate it so that it works best for you. I don't have all the tools in the toolbox to fix everything, unfortunately. I wish I did. I would fix the whole world. But it's, I can't fix everybody, but I might be able to help somebody. So if I can help somebody, I'll continue to do it. There are times when I'm not capable of it because I'm going through some emotions. And, life does get in the way, unfortunately, sometimes. But I'm trying to do the best I can with the limited resources that I have. But opening up to people and opening a dialogue in a place like this with the people that we now have, as our colleagues who are on board with what we're doing, well, I think we can make a difference. I think we can make a change. I think we can help some people. And Miss Shadika, you're welcome. Take care. Miss Shadika, we got to start blaming Ford. It's his fault. No more Trudeau fault. Yeah, let's just blame Ford.
And I'm back.
Hang on, let me adjust the camera here. Let me adjust the camera. Where's this thing here? Oh, other way. I got to go the other way. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
So I was just saying how this Dan was jumped in for a little bit there, and he was telling us communicating openly, talking about these things helps a lot of people, and I couldn't agree more. And I think today we may have possibly have opened up a few hearts and minds along the way. Maybe.
We have also, because we talked about our guests and focused on them, but there's also all of you kids and cubs who have been helping, all of you who participated in, for example, giving your input into the logo design to help us with that. And, when you spread the word, some of you have bought T-shirts. And just so because we're going to have guests coming on for the rest of the month, and because we got a bit of a later start, with the T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. Given that it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, we're going to keep our portals open until the end of the month.
Okay.
So we have various portals for you. The Canadian Mental Health Association joined up with us, and we have a feed there. If you look up Mental Health Walk on the Canadian Mental Health Association, if you would like to to donate some money there to support mental health programs, you can. That happens all through them. They handle all of that, and there are tax receipts because they have a registered charity status. So if you would like to do that, you can. If you would like to support our two grassroots organizations, Men of the North, which you have heard from here on our PubCast, or the Lonely Man Project, which was our episode on Thursday morning with Mr. Bill Jeffrey, then you write to True North Eager Beaver at gmail.com, and you make an e-transfer over there, and you just let us know how much you want to donate. Make sure that you write that it is for the Mental Health Walk, and we would like to thank Kit Amy, who did that today and made a wonderful generous donation, and for the Canadian Mental Health Association, Kit Jen, while we were on the walk or just before the walk, made a donation there as well. So we have stuff coming in from the community, and we have Kit Linda M, who wanted to help but preferred to make their donations local, which is quite all right. We support that if you know of something in your region to do that. So, and she picked, I believe, the Three Oaks Cabin, out in Ontario.
And they had a walk there too.
Yes, they had a walk there too. And they are doing, they provide services for first responders. So and then people bought T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. Our beautiful T-shirts designed by our friend Kit Aussie Pete, who designs our logos and everything. If you want them, we also will have them on sale until the end of the month. And that also, True North Eager Beaver at gmail.com. If you send $35, that includes includes the tax and the shipping. Tell us what your size is. We can do up to 3XL, actually, because I thought it was only 2XL, but we can do up to 3XL. So just send us the $35, your stale mail address, and your preferred size, and we will get one to you by mail. So, all the net proceeds from the shirts will go to our two grassroots organizations. Like I said, the money you donate directly to Canadian Mental Health Association will go there, and they have their own feed for that. And again, if you would like to make a donation to an organization that you know in your community, please do so. Send us a copy of the receipt and let us know what organization it is, because maybe we'll be able to link up with them for next year as well. Because the other thing that we've noticed when we're doing this, there doesn't seem to be a national directory of men's services. So if by finding out who you donate to, that allows us to create such a directory, then hey, why not? Let's do that. So please, while we're on air as well, now, if you would like to also donate to us, make sure. So you can donate by super chat during over the course of this. Now, we ask, if you can, to take the extra step and go to our coffee page, or to donate either through our coffee page or donate through True North Eager Beaver at gmail.com, because that way the organization will get a lot more of your donation. The super chat, I believe, will take 30% off. So only about 70% will go. Whereas if you donate through the other ones, over 96% of it will go.
Yes.
So in that case, and if you do it through our platforms, whatever small administrative fees there are, we'll actually eat them. So your 100% will go there. We can't eat the ones from Super Chat, unfortunately, because they're just too high. But if you donate through the other mechanism, that will be no problem whatsoever. So while we're on for the rest of the day, or the rest of the session, if you would like to make a donation live, if you want to consider it like a mini little telethon, we would be definitely happy to receive your help. And of course, when the end of the month comes, we'll be able to total up all that we have and see how much we raised this year. We're not expecting a huge amount this year, so like this way, when the number comes out,
it was more about
like
awareness than
it's
anything
not
else.
Yeah, but whatever the number is, it's not going to be disappointing, because when we started this, we weren't even thinking of raising any money whatsoever.
Yeah, it was just going to be an awareness thing to begin with. So,
and we saw that how everybody jumped on, and everybody was really was saying yes right away, that we decided to get a little more ambitious. Because if you can do a little more good, why not? So that's what we're doing this year. But again, as we mentioned, the gift of your attention is the one that's more important, and you spreading the word, not only today, but throughout the rest of the year when we talk about it, to make sure that we have a good buzz about it when we start next year. Right? So
there's a pie for you right there.
Again, it's like, can this day get any better? It's like, I get to meet the senator. I get to meet his lovely, lovely spouse. Both of them completely accomplished in their own rights.
Mm-hmm.
I got surrounded by friends, here with my brother, who I love like you would not believe, because this wouldn't be anywhere what it was without this man. And I'm not only talking about the initiative, but the podcast and the whole thing. Ever since I crossed paths with this person, my life has only been better.
Don't make me cry.
Of course, Mademoiselle Fox is here with us as well. And yes, absolutely. You may come and say hi.
Come on in.
And she's been a joy and a delight. And my very, very good friend, Kit Michael. Mr. Platypus.
We all need names.
There it is.
Mr. Platypus.
If you say it, it's going to be. He's on my curling team.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. And, we've been on the same curling team for a few years. And this year, our friendship really took another step. And he is genuine and kind and sweet and giving. And, yes, I am trying to make you blush. And everything, he's been all in from the get-go. He was the first one to say that he would travel and he would come for this. And, he followed through, and he did. And I'm very, very proud to call him my friend. we have Mademoiselle Fox with us.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for inviting me in.
absolutely. And we noticed that while the senator was speaking and while the doctor was speaking, you were pretty moved.
Yeah, no, I cried my eyes out. You want me to tell you why?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure,
That's why,
sure with
that's
us.
why I led
Okay,
with that.
and it's relevant to the conversation, but I've lost 5 friends to suicide, and 2 of them were 17-year-old boys in the last couple of years, and they had every support you could ask for. They tried desperately to get better, and so those are the 2 boys. So it's pretty moving. So that's why what Dr. Jackie, what's her last name?
Sancho.
Yeah, like what she said was very, very moving. I've had other young people in my life who were very close to wanting to take themselves. I'm sorry, I'm not using the right words, but
No, it's fine. It's fine.
to go
To
by
leave.
their own hand.
Yeah.
And the first, but so I, my friend, I'm just gonna say his name, Dale. Like, he went out. He was like, he had a baby coming in like 6 weeks, and he took his own life. And his wife found him. She's one of my best friends. I do have one woman in my circle who took herself out by drugs. She was my my university roommate. So, and then there was one other, but I won't talk about that one. So, yeah, so like what you guys are doing today is so meaningful to me personally. And, I've had other young people in my orbit who were on suicide watch.
Right.
So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's not easy.
This has not been what we'd call the happiest of shows, but that's
that's okay.
It's
Well, in a way, yes.
in a way, yes, because we're finding ways to fix things. It needs to be talked about. One of the things that I did say earlier was that at the top of the show, and we talked about this yesterday, was Saturday's PubCast is not going to be a typical PubCast. It's going to be different. It's going to be different because it's focused on something. And it was going to be post-walk. We were going to have the one-on-one with the senator and his wife. And, we're going to discuss things differently today.
I'm sorry, the senator and the doctor.
The doctor, I'm sorry, you are correct. Thank you for correcting me. The senator and the doctor.
I say that with love.
No,
Yes,
it's okay. It's okay.
She is not just a half.
No. I don't mind being
Yes.
corrected.
No,
I don't.
I know you're so but it's like when they say like the farmer and his wife. It's
Yeah.
just like, I'm pretty sure she's also a farmer.
Yeah.
Sweetie, I say that with love.
Oh, I know.
That's-
It's okay. I'm fine. Let's see. Can you? I just want to do a sound check for a second. Just speak for a second, Bridget, please.
What am I saying?
Okay. No, I just wanted to check it, and make
All
sure.
right.
Yeah, we're good.
Are you going to come on?
Yeah, I'd like
Yay!
Okay.
Better you than me.
Okay, hang on. Let me
No,
just.
no,
No,
just
not
the
better.
camera.
No, everyone.
everyone.
Do you have another set of headphones?
Yeah, hang on. Yeah.
There's a set on the.
I have another pair here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fine.
Just a second. I'll set you up. I was trying to get these over to the doctor, but I don't know. My brain was not functioning properly.
Yeah, she's a very amazing woman. I had some great conversations with her on the walk today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get the camera?
Yeah, I'm about to
Janet?
adjust it. Yeah,
Okay.
just a second here. Can you hear Bridget? Can you hear that?
Yep, I
Okay.
can.
Good. Whoops.
Oops.
I'm just going to adjust the camera.
There you
Ice
go.
cream. I'm going to call for ice cream because honestly, this pie is shit. Oh,
Don't tell me that.
We're going to have to
No.
try. It's gluten-free crust. But
It's still a pie.
It's a mediocre pie, and it needs
Oh no.
It needs some
You know,
ice cream.
it's
Oh,
made with a lot of love.
So when you say mediocre
So when
pie,
it's made with love, it's
Yes.
always going to
Yes.
be good.
no, but when you say mediocre pie, is it like pizza? Because even when pizza's pretty bad, it's still kind of
It's
good.
still pizza.
I know I make great pizza, Doug?
Yes, but it's pie. So pie,
It's
pie
pie.
to start with
I
is
mean,
not bad.
you can put the review on Yelp or whatever.
It's still pie. It's still pie. Yeah, it's still pie.
Joining us as well is
Yeah.
my friend Janet.
Janet Persacco, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Janet, I also know her from the curling club, but recently had an opportunity to move to the nation's capital.
I know they're going to have fireworks for me in July 1st.
There you go.
I'm taking over possession of my new apartment on Churchill.
On the
Yeah.
1st?
On the 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're going to have fireworks for me.
Well, there you go. Welcome to town.
I know. I go with a bang all the time.
Okay. Now, I know that part of this was a surprise for
Yeah.
me because I had no idea you were coming.
Mhm.
But other than wanting to surprise me, what is it about the event that made you decide you wanted to come out for it today?
Well, I have 2 young boys. They're going to be 22 in July. July 28th, identical twin boys. And they have struggled mentally in the last 4 years, probably hindsight before.
Mm-hmm.
So when the doctor was talking today about the disconnect that schools provide, really struck a chord for me because, hindsight's always behind us. 2020, it's perfect vision, but I always wanted to kind of digger into the psychology of raising boys. And first of all, I didn't realize they cried so much. I always thought girls cried.
Right.
Right. But then right there, it's a stigma. So we treat them different. Right. So going back to what the doctor said about going to school and being such a young age and like we put them in at JK and they're 4 years old. Well, both of them cried for me that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was told it's okay. Well, no, it wasn't okay. Right? Like, but then there's also the stigma of being a helicopter parent. We're walking around with that parachute, like with the
right,
with the chute all the time. We want to save them. We don't want them to be hurt. We don't want them to scrape their knee and see the bullies in the schoolyard. But I think from a very young age, now that I hear that and leading into their problems with drug abuse and how they wanted to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
That hit home today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much so. With that being said, I'm always told I'm the strongest person that somebody knows, my friend,
Right.
It's really hard on mom.
I can well imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
And being a product of divorce for the boys, that's when the troubles really became because the roles, like Doctor talked about, were undefined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it does start young, but then their dad had a brain injury and was trying to raise them through divorce. And it ended up into drug abuse on the children.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to be here today, because today they're sober. They're living with my mom in Saskatchewan.
Okay. That's good news.
Yeah. She's given me the permission to go on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that I need to heal right now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when Sam left, him and I talked about that we both need to heal for everything. And the one thing I learned was that I always need to keep my hand out, and they will take it when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't be that helicopter parent because, there's so many other things out there in the world for the kids to experience, and they need to. I always wanted that, but I'll have to say that the drug abuse started during COVID when everything was locked down.
Mm-hmm.
The drug dealer was not locked down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was always open. So, yeah, it's been a journey, and we saw the other side, and that's what's important. And if I could give hope to one other parent today, that you always hold your hand out and they will take it when they're ready. And I'm fortunate. Today, the boys are sober, and they're leading a life that has hope and promise. And it takes a community.
Yeah.
Even though we're in Ottawa, my community is still back home in Saskatchewan, and my mom's a strong lady. So,
Sorry, Saskatchewan strong. They're like tougher than balls.
So yeah, like today's profound for me, and to hear the doctor's words, it goes back, you know, and we don't let our boys show emotion. It's like, stop crying. Well, you know, like you can't stop crying. Now I let them cry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that something you heard, you remember yourself saying?
Well, no, it's how we were brought up.
Just how you
It's about what the doctor said about not. It's the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it starts in school, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Boys cry in school, and then they're told not to.
Yeah.
And then they're told they're bad.
Well, and I remember there was one kid in I think it was my 4th or 5th grade class, cried constantly.
Yeah.
And if a girl cried, everybody ran to her aid. But when the guy cried, everybody ran away. We went in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the 4th or 5th grade. And I mean, we're the same age. We were kids. But we were so brainwashed into believing, oh, that's wrong. He's a sissy, blah, blah. And we'd run away.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have to say, like I've done a lot of things not well as a mother, but whenever my son cried, I was just like, yeah, let it out. Like, let it out, man. Like, I'm actually a crying doula. I don't know if I've told you this. I have friends who's, you know, have had loss in their families, and they're like, I can't cry. I'm like, oh, let me come over. I'll cry with you.
Yeah.
I'll make you cry. So
no, but even as women, we're
it doesn't
not
pay very well. But
even as women, we're not really allowed to cry sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like crying shows weakness. If you're weak, you can't be in this world.
well,
Yeah.
honestly, I love crying.
Yeah.
And I do it. We were talking earlier. We're like,
every day.
I cry almost every day, but I dance every day and I sing every day.
Yeah.
And I say my, you know, thankful for the things that I have. So I'm like, I think that's a good combo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you, Doug. I know you and I have always talked before, but I always have had a bigger connection.
Whoa,
with
whoa,
you.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't put them there. Don't put them there.
Okay, all right.
And
I'm slithering out.
no, more than
Getting you some
happy
ice cream.
today to be a part of the
Can you eat ice
walk.
Can you eat ice cream?
Yes, again.
I can't. She's getting ice cream. Sorry.
Okay.
More than happy, like more.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I knew that it would be a profound time in my life, and it hasn't come at a better time in my healing journey.
Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, because I'm healing.
How is it?
My therapist is getting me to spend more time with myself,
Okay.
and I actually enjoy it.
Awesome.
I know.
Yes. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's something. That's a big step when you can spend time with yourself alone, your thoughts, yes, and actually like yourself.
Yes.
Enjoy the company.
Yeah. So like I've gone back to like talking about how my maiden name is Janet Prosacco, and the first couple of times I said it, I was like, wow, like I really miss that girl.
Mm.
So,
Because like I took another name, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you lose yourself as a woman. So,
Something a woman said to me, I can't remember how long ago, and I went, oh my God, no woman has her own name.
no.
Because your maiden name is that of your father.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your name for sure,
But then
but it's still from a man.
but then when you have kids, your whole identity is your
Disappears.
Sam and Josh's mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like I'm like, wow, I don't even have a name anymore.
no.
So yeah, I like who she is, and she's really spontaneous and has a lot of gumption. She's very competitive, and she knows how to put that cape on and carry it, and it's really awesome that way, right? Because that's what every man needs. Or if you're raising boys, you need a strong mother. Mm-hmm. And my boys have both said, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hard to digest.
That'll sit with you for a very long time.
Oh, forever. So yeah, like it doesn't even, you don't even have to ask me twice about what today's meant. And it's part of my journey. And you guys will see me next year.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And I'll help build next year.
Thank you.
That's my commitment.
Thank you so much.
We like I said, we started this thing. It was very much a spur of the moment idea. And it wasn't even our idea. It was from something that was taking place in Australia. And our friend Aussie Pete jumped in and said, I just did the walk with a bloke, 25K. Like, what's that all about? And he explained it to us. And I'm like, we should do something like that. Why aren't we doing something like that? We need to address the fact that men's mental health is not well taken care of in this country. Let's do that. We'll have a walk. We'll figure it out. And then it just kind of, it came together. It was a fair bit of work and finagling. And we had to come up with our logo and get the T-shirts. And
I had to surprise Doug.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
But
check.
But it all came together quite well. And the senator and the doctor are both committed to us for next year. You've just committed to us for next year. Mm-hmm. So, this was the very first step. This year was, let's raise awareness. Next year, let's raise some money. And we managed to raise a little bit of money this year. So, hey, that's
I'm good
cool
at that. I used to be the football manager.
Oh, okay. So you know how to solicit funds then, do you?
Oh yeah, I'll be talking to the senator.
Okay. Well, we do have to found a charitable organization.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be a not-for-profit for the first year because we tried to with another thing to try to find an actual charitable organization able to get tax receipts, and it was just a pain and nightmare.
The senator and his company will be able to direct you and lead you as well, right?
Right.
They're going to be a source of knowledge.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah. For that though, we would probably need a lawyer that would be willing to donate services pro bono for registry, because for actual full charitable that can give tax receipts, it's very expensive and it's involved.
Okay. Well. I got to brainstorm for that too. So
okay,
wonderful.
All right,
yeah, because I love my lawyer in Kingston, so
yes,
we can ask her if we have a formal letter.
Okay,
so right, there's ideas but then once we create the templates and stuff and go looking, we don't have to knock on one door; we knock on a lot of doors,
right?
But also the senator will be able to direct us. He has a team too, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Right, and the doctor pointed that out to me today too, right? So, there's ways we can do this, right?
Right. Perfect.
And if you don't ask, you don't receive, and that's half of it.
It was a buddy of mine who said that to me once years ago. I said, "How do you always fall backwards into these things?" He goes, "I just asked." Yeah. I'm like, "What?" Mm-hmm. He goes, "I just asked." Mm-hmm. The worst they can say is no. I go, and the funny thing is, a lot of times it doesn't occur to us to ask the question. Yeah. Can I have that? Could you help me with this?
Yeah,
Could you.
But you don't know if you ask, and you might ask for the moon, and they say we'll give you $100, and then you'll be like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it starts, right? But I like your idea of starting with an idea, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Start with a small idea and build from there. So we're gonna try and make this bigger next year. That's our goal. Thank you.
Oh man,
I know it's so special.
How
do you feel?
How do I feel? That's a good one.
I have a full bladder. I'll be right back.
Tell us.
That's how I feel.
I have a full bladder. How do I feel? It's kind of interesting because it's oh my god, I can't eat the whole pie. I literally have 2 balls of ice cream. We can share. Yes, I got.
Now it just needs a wiener in the middle.
It's an ice cream nut sack. I'm definitely down to eat it. So it's cherry pie with ice cream and all that good stuff.
No, it's rhubarb.
It's rhubarb.
Strawberry rhubarb.
That's my favorite pie of all.
That's why I made it.
I know it's the perfect season for strawberry rhubarb.
It's loving its real, kids. I'm just saying.
You have to eat the
In a non-home wrecking kind of
No worries. In a non-home wrecking kind of way. I've said this 3 times now over the past couple of days. This, I love you, but in a non-home wrecker kind of way.
No, that means you have to put your white beater on.
No, thank you. We're good. But no, if you ask me how I feel,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's part of me is proud.
Oh, 100% of you has to be proud.
Yeah. I don't know if 100% because I'm not that. I was talking about this to the senator and the doctor on the way out. He says, you should be proud. And says, well, yeah, proud. I says, no. It was like, you need to be proud because we don't have enough of it. And I says, yeah, but like pride is one of those things where too much is like not enough, just as bad as not enough. So I'm proud that this happened. I'm proud that I had a role to play in it because I don't think I would have want this to happen without having been involved in some way. But I'm like I said, I know it sounds, Pollyannish and whatnot. I don't know, Douglas, you're just trying too hard to give credit and whatnot like this, but I really am proud about how everyone came together because nobody was obligated in any way to say yes.
No.
Right? I had no power. I had no sway. I couldn't bribe or coerce, or I had no blackmail on anybody. Say you need to do this or else. It's just I just showed up and asked people, do you want to help? And people said yes. And I don't think there's anybody that I've asked. There've been a couple of people who said I can't help by that date. But if you're doing it next year, I will. Or like I can't come on your show over the next week.
You can't worry yourself over that.
I know.
Yeah.
But I wasn't worried. Yeah. But things like I can't come on your show this weekend, but I'll be able to do it next week, whatnot. And you could turn around and says, well, if it's not before the walk, then it's not as good anymore. But then it's like we found a way to pivot to move around. Said, hey, let's not make it just the 15th. Let's make it the rest of the month, and therefore you can. So there's always a way to adapt. And change the script up a bit and flip the game a little bit to include people when things change. So if people are available later or not on the day.
Because it's an ongoing conversation.
Right.
This conversation does not need to stop.
Right, exactly. And so, I'm it's one of those things, like, because in this world, we see the things that are going wrong, we see the things that are tougher, and we see all the people contributing to seeming to make things worse. And this was an opportunity, hey, you want to do some good? And everybody was down for doing some good. And that makes me, I'm proud that the idea was good enough to get people to do that, but I'm really proud that the people that I trusted to ask first would say yes, and then they were able to refer us to people that they trusted that we didn't know from Adam, but because they trusted him and they trusted us, they put us in contact, and all of them said yes.
Like it's 150% proud to do that.
Yeah.
You started the conversation, and that's where it needs to start.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed about the light in your followers and the Senate. Senator is on board.
Yeah, I know.
And his wife is brilliant.
I know. Like, we couldn't have lucked out better.
Yeah.
And it's because of who you are.
My sister did that once.
I might have something to do with it,
I know.
but this is, like I said, I'm not trying to do the false modesty thing here. Like this, I did some work. I feel accomplished, and I'm proud of it. Like there's no doubt about that, and I'm owning that part.
Own your proudness.
Pardon?
You have to own your proudness.
Yes.
Like, you have to say, you're like, well, I had something to do with it. No, like, this happened because of you.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to accept.
Yep. And and there will be a time I'll be sit down and I'll be looking at it and go, wow, like I did that, not alone, but
we never do anything alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it's rare that you get like there's something that had a definite start, middle, and definite end, which this project did, even though it's an ongoing conversation. But this portion of it had it like this, and then you point to it and you go, that happened. Like this, that day happened. There's a legacy as a result of it. People came up like this, and I did that, right? And it was a good thing, right? On top of that, so I'm feeling that
it's Pride Month as well.
Yes, yeah, as well, and so that's on one side, and then there's part of me that's very moved because a lot of people shared things today. Because
It's a heavy burden.
my friendships with my friends that participate here got meaningfully deeper as a result of the sharing. Yes. Yeah, as a result of the sharing.
And this is why, like, you will always be in my life now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you know that. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
My struggles before.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but not this deep.
No, but you understood when I said it.
Yep.
Yeah. That meant a lot to me,
Yep.
right? Because not everybody does. They're like, oh, I'm sorry you went through that, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, who you allow in your life. And while you're going through it, because I've had people slam the door on me. Yeah. Because of what's going on in my house.
Say whatever you feel like
saying.
Yeah.
It was a shame. So yeah, like it's all like today is good. Today's good. Like you changed my life.
Oh.
Today was life changing for me.
Wow.
Very life changing. That's why, and I talked to Bridget outside, and I didn't know what to expect today.
Right. Neither did we.
And she said something about preparing for it, and I'm like, no, you don't prepare for today.
No.
You let it happen.
Yep. It's like literally being like in an ocean and just letting the wave come and wash over you, and
like
not just like take you, but just let it hit.
Yeah, I know. It's like being baptized, right? When you talk about the water, like that's what happens in church, right?
Yep.
So
yeah.
And it, like when my kids were baptized, I had to like do a test and everything with the minister, and he's like, "Well, do you know what being baptized is?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like it was something about somebody goes before and wears white, and because they're a sinner, and I'm like, "Oh, you're a sinner." I'm like, "You're like 3 months old. How can you have sinned already?" But it's about being the original sin, and that's a whole nother, so. But to me, like baptism is a cleansing.
Right.
So then you cleanse yourself to move on with your life, and that happens as a baby because you're wanting and needing, right, when you're born. So then it's the start of the journey about being self-sufficient. But then I hear, oh, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right. Oops. Yeah. So
then you need religion and politics and all that to move on, and then we land to today talking about men's mental health. So it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, how profound today was.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what it is. So, like for me, like there's the first element that's like being proud of having played the role in playing something. Like I said, and then there was a part where I've been moved a lot today by virtue of the emotion and the sharing. And then there's there's a part of me that's admittedly a little bit trepidatious. Because when you have success and this,
Now you have to live up to it.
well, yeah, and by all measures, objectively, today was a success for any metric that I set for myself. So, but then it's like, as we're saying, like we plan to do this next year, and we have a whole year lead up now. So there's a little, I guess there might be a little bit of expectation from the outside.
If we have
as
10
to
more people in the room next year, that's going to be a good thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But that thing, like I just finished something. Okay, let's do it again. Will it be as good next year? Well, because it could go two ways, right? More people can join in, or the novelty can wear off, right?
There's no doubt.
But you never know.
No.
Like today was awesome, and next year is going to be even better. And if you don't mind, may I just talk about baptism for a moment?
Oh yes, please.
That's the only thing I just wanted to pop in and talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Original sin.
My mom is what she calls a recovering Catholic. My grandmother was like a card-carrying platinum level Catholic, but very open-minded, generous to the end of her soul. And she's just like, I need this child to be baptized. I was like, a baby. Anyway, she baptized me in the kitchen sink and told my mother afterwards.
Okay, that's funny.
So I'm going to heaven. That's all I gotta say. Like, thank you, Nanny. I love you.
Oh man, Mr. Grizzly, how are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling really good about today. I'm going to admit I'm a little tired. There's no word of a lie about that. A little tired because I wasn't up late last night, but yesterday was a very emotionally taxing day for me, and today I was sitting around this morning going through stuff in my head about make sure you get all the equipment set up and ready to take over, and it's like I have to lie down for a few minutes because it's like whoa. So then I went into the studio and I programmed the time slot for this show and the walk show. Got that, did some edits, did some other stuff. And then we went out and brought everything here and then came to meet everybody. And I was like, I was wondering if anybody was going to turn up, to be honest with you. That was my fear was, will anybody show up? And luckily, we did get some people who showed up. So that was nice. That was sweet. And it was unexpected, to be honest with you. I was like, sure, we've been, talking about this and planning it and doing it. But you never know who's going to show up. And I was just really happy that we had a small group today. And I like that it was a small group today because if it was a whole bunch of people, I don't know how it would have been able to handle all of that.
Yeah.
So it was a good. I think it's a good,
just the right size.
Yeah. For something we put together relatively quickly, very much a grassroots beginning. But we've raised some money today.
Speaking of, Kit Toronto Dan just sent us a little something as well.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, good Thanks, sir. Dan. Really appreciate it. And Kit Toronto Dan also bought a T-shirt. So, double
nice.
Donation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, absolutely.
Very, very kind. And if there's anybody watching the show who would like to help us on that front as well, again, True North Eager Beaver at gmail.com. Just either if you want to make a direct donation, that's fine. Just do an e-transfer. And if you would like to get one of these snazzy, fashionable, walk, fashion, baby, work that T-shirt crazy.
I don't know if you saw the thumbs down thing a minute ago.
Yes.
So there's this new feature in Restream where it's doing things where if you do a certain wave or something, it'll do a hand gesture. So that was, nobody did that. It was just interpreted your movement as a thumbs down.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know what it was you did to do that, but that's what it determined.
Okay.
So
that's great.
It's not a personal thing.
So, and if you would like one of these T-shirts, as we mentioned, if you make a cash e-transfer for $35 to True North Eager Beaver at gmail.com, give us your shirt size. We can go up to 3XL. and your snail mail address, we will get one to you as soon as we can. And we appreciate all the support that you are able to give us. Thank you so much.
So, we got another fellow that's just joined us.
Oh, yes.
Let me just I'll put the camera on him and let's see if I got you in there properly. I'll just cue that up. And I got to turn up your mic. There. Should be able to hear you.
Okay. Just give us a little test.
Oh, wait a minute. I got it muted. Okay, there we go. Try now.
Yep. Hello.
Try it again.
Hello.
There we go. I had the wrong one.
That's different.
Yeah, I had the wrong one. Sorry.
I'm losing my voice, so I won't be able to speak very well or clearly, probably.
Right, Kits and Cubs. For those of you who have not met him yet, this is Kit Michael, my friend.
Hello, everybody.
And we see him in the chat frequently in the morning, so good to meet you, sir.
Same here. It was a great day.
Yeah?
It was a great day for, I started the day rough, opening up.
Yeah.
But I feel happy.
That's good.
I feel happy. It was good to listen to the senator and the doctor. It was good to chat with everybody that was on the walk today. I opened during the live stream while we were walking. I talked a little bit, but and Paul, you're right. The avenues of help for men,
They're not there.
They're not there.
That's
and
the problem.
When you do search it out, and you try to talk to people about it. And I said, man up.
Yeah.
I've been told to man up since I was 14.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
No, it's not.
Not good.
It's not good. It's an epidemic. And I mean, the senator expressed it to us. The doctor expressed it to us. I mean, and these are people who have the ability to get all of the information.
Yeah.
Much quicker than we can and are getting it from the direct source. So when they're saying that, when they're saying ring the alarm bells, I think we should.
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched my father struggle. He was a 40-year volunteer firefighter.
Oh.
And I talked to Douglas a bit about it on the way up here today. He'd come home and not talk for a week.
Oh, yeah.
Just clam right up. And you always wondered what happened. Why won't he talk to us about it? Then I joined a volunteer firefighter. The guy who said he never wanted to be like his father.
Walked in his footsteps, did you?
He worked in a factory. At 25, I worked in a factory. I became a volunteer firefighter like he did. Anyways, and I had my first traumatic experience as a firefighter. Mm-hmm. And the chief took me aside. I'd only been on the department about 6 months. And it was good. We were talking about it then. This is early 2000s, late 90s. Mm-hmm. But the chief had the wherewithal to say, hey, I can see something's wrong. Do we need to get you somebody to talk to? Mm. And I went, nope.
No, I'm good.
I need to go talk to my dad. Because now I know.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
I know. And him and I had a good 2-hour talk that day. And it was just, open up. Like I said on the live cast when we were walking, you'll never hit the ball if you don't swing the bat.
Very true.
It's okay to swing and miss, but you'll never hit it if you don't take the swing.
Mm-hmm. I see that your eyes are watering a little. What are you feeling
It's
right
dusty
now?
in here.
That's what it is. It's dry and dusty in the pub. And it's okay, brother. We got no issue with that, man.
No.
Let her go.
I'm an emotional man, and my love partner, my rock, my sweetheart, she knows it too, and she knows to just let me go and then talk later.
Yeah.
What I'm feeling is, believe it or not, relief. That I'm part of this. A very small part, mind you. I'm here. That's my part.
Yeah, that helps. That helps, man.
He also got me here, by the way.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I'm a chauffeur on the side. But to be part of this inaugural event that we're going to try and open some doors, and I too, like Janet said, I want to be there. I want to help. What can I do to help next year? Right. And there's 10 of us this year. If there's 20, we've doubled. We've doubled participation. Right.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, with a year's planning and the right non-for-profit and reaching out for help, I think we can make this a good thing.
I think so too.
But the issue is, and this is part of why I'm so emotional right now, is we're doing what we're doing, but we're minions in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's going to take I know this isn't supposed to be political on a
No,
Saturday,
no.
but Senator Brazeau was correct. It's going to take our government, our health leaders. It's okay. Like the city of Kingston we come from declared a state of emergency for mental health a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's that mean?
Yeah.
What did it do? I never heard anything after. They were just jumping on the bandwagon of what every municipality around them was doing.
Okay.
But
so they didn't actually do anything?
Not that I know of. Not that was easily accessible. Not that was in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I didn't need to go out and look for it. I'm in a good place in my life now that I don't need the help now, but I needed it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, so it's okay to say, yeah, we have an issue. Tell me what you're going to do to fix it.
You know, I have a friend right now who is going through something really terrible. I'm not going to say who. That's neither here nor there. But this person is feeling like what you just said. Where was it 20 years ago, right? Yep. And this person is like, I've been suffering like this for 17 years. I'm like, I know what you're going through. I suffered for 40.
Yep.
40 years. I managed to hang on. There were times when I didn't think I was going to. And when you first, there was a time when I first started to talk about depression and nobody wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
They not only want to hear it, they got mad at me for talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm depressed. What are you sad about? You have a good job? You have a nice place to live? What's the problem? I'm like, that's not it.
Yeah.
It's not it. It's my brain. Oh, you're not crazy. That's not what I said.
There's a difference.
Yeah. So, difference. You know, my friend who's going through this right now, if he's watching, he may watch later. I know you're getting some help, and I know it's not enough right now, and I want you to hold on. I know it's tough. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through because I've been there. I spent decades of my life there. When you come through it on the other side, life is worthwhile again. Life is happy again. It's good to get up in the morning and not hate yourself. It's good to wake up in the morning and be happy that you woke up. I know what it's like to not feel that way. And I can't, and I've said this to you before, Douglas, that I can't get upset over the past. And I've got a lot of years that were lost to severe depression. Like there's just, I missed out on a great deal, but I can't get upset about that. It's done. It's past. All I can do is look forward to the future. So if my friend is watching, look forward to the future. I know you're suffering right now. We're going to try and get you the help you need. And hopefully you get the help you need. Because guess what, my friend? When you come out of that tunnel and you stand in the sunshine, you will feel like a different person. You will feel love again. You will feel that your friends, your family, and the people who care about you the most actually do love you. Because I know right now you don't feel it. I know right now you feel like nobody gives a shit. I know that feeling. That's your brain lying to you. That's what depression does. It lies to you.
Excuse me.
So hold on. I'm here for you. Hold on.
Yep.
We'll get you the help. We're going to do our best to try and get you the help. You do have to take the step on your own, though. You know the story, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You do have to do some work on your side. I understand you need to get in touch with the right people. I do get that. But you need to put in the work on your side. Because I had to put it in, and it wasn't easy. And I'm still working on it. And here's the thing. This is a lifelong thing for me. This is never going to go away. It's endemic. Mm-hmm. I will be working every day for the rest of my life to be happy. And I don't mean woohoo. I mean just not hating myself. Being joyful in the moment. Accepting things as they come to me. Literally stealing a line from another organization one day at a time. One day at a time and hope for the future. Mm-hmm. I guess that was a bit of a monologue, but
it's okay.
Sometimes I get on a roll.
That first step you talked about, Paul, that's the hard one.
It really is.
And I never took that step.
No.
Somebody else did for me. like we talked about, right? So
Yeah.
somebody else opened the door, and I just followed his shadow through the door.
Hey, but that's cool too. It got you the help you needed, right?
Right. And then 7 more people followed me through that door. So
See, there's the bonus of it, right?
And I still look up to that man.
Yeah.
But that man that opened the door carried the burden, and I never knew it, but carried the burden to his death.
Oh, wow.
Because of it. So it's not easy, brother. Paul's friend, it's not easy.
No,
it's not an easy journey. You will feel diminished, demoralized. You will not feel like the man you want to be.
Yes.
And I said this earlier to somebody else, that this stigma difference between man and women, and I'm going to swear here, and I know it's okay, drives me fucking insane. We're humans.
Yep.
We are all humans, and we all need to be treated the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether we're man, woman, trans, anything.
Whatever.
That's why I support Douglas's community, because, and I say it every day at the end of your podcast, peace, love, and happiness to everyone. But Paul's friend, that first step, sorry I went off on a tangent there.
It's fine.
But that first step is tough. And you have a friend like Paul, don't know what you're going through, don't know you, but it sounds like you have the support you need, or the support you should have. You need to know you need it. And that's what you need to do, is step up and say, thanks, brother.
And he's really feeling lost, empty, alone,
Been
adrift.
there. We've all been there.
And it's hell.
Yeah.
It is hell.
Yeah.
And like I said to my ex-wife once when she told me to get over it.
Yeah.
That's why she's my ex-wife now.
Yeah.
Because I'll never get over it.
No.
I'll learn to cope and deal with it.
Yes.
But I will never get over the trauma in my life that made me who I am today.
Right.
When people say, oh, come on, it's just depression, get over it. I go, hang on a second. I'm going to go get my hockey stick and my goalie stick, and I'm going to shatter both your legs and tell you to walk it off.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's no damn different.
Yep.
It's just when your brain is broken, nobody can see it.
Yeah. It's a hidden disability.
It's a hidden disability. It really is. And we talked about that recently in a meeting, a diversibility meeting I was in. It's like a sort of a symposium, I guess. And they talked about that. And they said, so many people have hidden disabilities that you don't even know about. And at the end of it, I said, they said, what about you, Paul? I said, well, I have a few of them, actually. And they go, really? And I go, yeah, I have ADHD, anxiety, depression, and I can barely hear out of this ear. And I said, and without these, which you can see, this is a mobility device. I can't drive a car without it. Hell, I can't walk. I can walk without it, but I might get lost because I can't read street signs. This is a mobility device, just like Super Kyle's wheelchair is. I need that to get through my day. That's not a hidden disability. It's a visibility. But the hearing and the 3 brain problems, well, the 4th was OCD, but OCD made me really good at my job.
I have CDO, OCD in alphabetical order. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Oh, good.
I like that.
Every time I hear somebody say OCD, I went, no, CDO.
CDO. Compulsive disorder obsessively.
Yes.
Penny.
Penny.
Oh, CDO.
But anyways, gentlemen, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming out,
letting
brother.
me slide in. And,
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for organizing today. And we'll be back bigger and better next year.
Thanks for having my back.
Yeah,
I got you,
exactly.
brother.
Bigger and better.
I
next
got you,
year.
brother.
There you go. Hug it out. Hug it out.
Yeah.
That's what men do. They
love
hug
this
it out.
man.
They hug it out. Men
I
hug
love
it
this
out.
man.
Lovely.
I love this man too. So, what can I say? I am well surrounded. You know what? This is really interesting. As an adult, I am well surrounded by men who actually allow themselves to feel stuff,
Well, you have to.
and who are good friends and will go the extra mile. And even though I grew up in a foster home with 5 foster brothers,
Yeah.
that was not the case then. But as an adult, it's kind of cool. Just that I've got friends now that I could say, if somebody says, "How's it going?" Not so good today. guests, oh, what's going on?
Mhm.
Rather than, oh, sad to hear that. By the way, how about them Jays?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that was typical for a time and a place where we would just do that, because that was let's avoid discussing what's wrong. Let's not have that conversation.
And I mean, and for me, there's, while I have been fortunate as a member of the rainbow community to have a pretty good coming out process, and I mean, like everyone, I even though I knew my mom, 99.85% would be okay with it, there was that
There's always that
0.15%,
concern. Yeah.
and I had the concern, and that was like quickly alleviated as soon as I said it. But the I say it often with Dean and Locke and Ryan and stuff, but the ability to be one of the guys,
Right.
which
was
is
something
often
you didn't
denied
have.
us.
You didn't have before. Right?
Yeah. That's it's meaningful, right? And there's a difference between one of the guys where it's okay so long as you're one of us, so long as don't bring too much of the gay stuff this, or if you talk about it, it's uncomfortable. But with these this group of guys, I can make a bam joke, right, either about myself, my community, or theirs,
and we'll
from
laugh
my perspective,
because it's
and
funny,
we'll laugh.
because it's a joke,
because it's but it's also universal, right? How we get along with other people, and sex and sexuality. I mean, it's messy and sticky and smelly and all that kind of stuff, right? Like this, and we all go through it too. I mean, we were joking I was joking with Ryan and Ashley the other day when they were talking about toilet seats. It's like, oh yeah, we have the same thing too. So yeah, but you're two guys. It does not matter.
Some guys are just slobs.
It does not matter. Like I have sat down at 3:00 in the morning in the toilet and felt wet bum because I forgot to check.
The lid was not there.
Yeah, the lid and the seat were both up.
Or sorry, I meant the seat. Yeah,
because sometimes I go to the bathroom and it's like if there's too much light.
Yeah.
Like I wake up, so it's like I know the path to the bathroom for the bedroom. I don't have to open my eyes. So it's like close your eyes, like there's you sit down. It's like splash, like ah.
Well, it's a little bit different in my house now. The whole thing goes closed. The seat, the lid, everything. Because if I don't, Ms. Lola in the middle of the night, will get thirsty, and if her bowl is empty, she will go to the toilet. Yep. She's a dog. It's water to her,
It's water and it's in a bowl.
But I don't want her drinking out of the toilet.
Right.
I mean, I scrub it frequently, but it's a toilet.
It's a toilet.
I don't want my dog drinking out of the toilet.
And then
yeah. Well, she's already licked her arse first, so that's why if she tries to lick my face in the morning, I'm like, no, you just licked your ass a minute ago. I know it. That's what she does. Wakes up, licks her butt, comes over, licks your face. Thank you very much. I have your butt germs all over my face. Am I going to get pink eye? Do I get pink eye? If I get pink eye, you'll know why. It's my dog licking my face when I'm asleep after she's licked her arse.
Oh man, so yeah, it's it's a good thing, and it's also been interesting over the past, because we're talking about mental health, and mine I have to say, overall has been pretty good. There's been like a couple of moments, as everybody knows, there was the moment last year when our neighbor decided to use an unwise word to describe us. And then there have been something I was volunteering with at one point or earlier this year, just had to come to a sudden end.
Right.
So that was not easy.
No, it'd be a kick in the teeth for sure.
Yeah, kick in the teeth. So I mean, this year hasn't been all successes by far, and probably more failures or lack of success this year than normal.
Right.
And then, as kids know, the Beaver Sweetie and I are in renovations, and if you want to make a couple argue, renovate.
That's very stressful.
I guess. Now, fortunately, we have a healthy way of resolving our differences, and we talk. But
yeah, we built IKEA furniture recently, and that was.
But you still go through why are you doing that?
Challenging.
Yes, it was you just listen to me, and all that kind of stuff. And we have those moments, but the projects are getting done. The projects are moving forward, and even though a project like a renovation can bring out the worst in you because we bring out the best in each other, we're able to get through those moments.
Right.
But I mean, you would rather not have them,
of course.
Right? Life's easier without them. But the pain part of life is non-negotiable. It's going to happen. It's the suffering that's optional.
Right.
So, seeking to go through a renovation project, a major one, like for example, when you're re-insulating your house, put siding, you're looking at like spending about $30,000. You're going to have one or two discussions along the way that maybe hit a couple of speed bumps because you're dropping a lot of money and you want a certain result. But if you can be able to have a discussion where you both want different things, and you have to, like, it could be something as silly as just like what color the siding is going to be.
Right.
But you are able, if you're in a dynamic that's healthy, you're able to have the emotion, and the emotion may be unpleasant, but you're able to walk away from that moment, and still, still be in love, and and not transfer the moment onto the relationship as a whole. And it's one of those things that somebody taught me early on, that if you are in a relationship like this and at a point you're having an argument, at any point during that argument you should be able to stop and say, "But I love you," and hug. The argument should never get to that point where it's like I can't even look at you right now, right? It's like, you should be able to, and we, for the most part, we have that. There have been times in our relationship, 12 years, where it's like, "Where are you going?" So, "I am going for a walk because the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth is something I am going to regret."
Yeah, and
so give me that space, right? Like, I'd rather have that. And and in the moment, it could look like, "Oh my God, he like walked out on me." It's like, no, I didn't walk out on you. It's I know I am 2 buttons away from being pressed, from having something just blurt out that I'm going to be spending the rest of my relationship apologizing for and making up for.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you know someone like this, you know exactly where to go, that one thing to say that will go right to their heart and cut them.
Yeah.
Right? And you should never play that card.
Agreed.
Right? So, and if you feel it coming on, it's like, okay, I've got 2 choices. I can take myself somewhere. I could go to a field and scream it. You're this and that, like this, where nobody's going to hear it. And I get the out. And I'm able to come back and say, okay, now I'm calm. Or just walk it off. Or just be alone with my thoughts. There are sometimes I go for a walk like this and like I'm continuing the argument as I'm walking. You said that, well, what if you say that? I'm saying this, like this, and I'm actually like having the argument, like playing like what he's going to say and what I would say and what if he would say like this, and I'm walking and I'm stomping and I'm mad and maybe if you didn't do that, like this, like I'm literally talking to myself, like if somebody saw me on the street, it's like, okay, this guy's wacko.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah, and
I know what that's like.
Yeah, but whatever it is, to get all the emotion that's like, right here, all that feeling, that vibrating, like to calm down so that you can remember that even though you're having a moment, you're hitting a speed bump. It's like you are hitting a speed bump with someone you love.
Yeah.
And you don't lose sight of the love.
Yeah. And it's going to be difficult. And it's
hard.
Hey, look, relationships take work.
No, I know what you're
and I'm going to fail more than I'll succeed. It's true. I'm going to fail. Well, not fail. I'm going to be unsuccessful more often than I'll be successful, because failure is such a terrible word. It's not that you failed. It's that you learned, okay, that didn't work out. Let's try it this way. You were unsuccessful in your attempt to achieve your goal.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever you're doing in life. Remember that. failure has such a stigma attached to it. So let's change that word around. Let's change the way we think about it. Let's go with, I was not successful in my attempt to whatever I was trying to do.
Right.
And I think when you can reframe your thought process around that, because words have meaning and purpose, and sometimes they carry a lot of weight. And that word, failure, carries a tremendous amount of weight for so many people. And there are people, like we just spoke to a gentleman the other day, Quick Nick, how his fear of failure drove him to the point where he could not fail. He would not allow it. So it's like, change the word from failure to, I was not successful in that attempt. Reframe it. Although I did read a funny one a couple of weeks ago, and it says, instead of saying sorry for being late, say thank you for waiting for me. And the guy says, okay, well, thank you for letting me sleep with your sister. That's the joke. It's the joke.
I only heard the punchline, and I'm looking like, what the hell's going on over there?
Not sorry I slept with your sister. Thank you for letting me sleep with your sister. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I showed you the joke. You thought it was funny.
But all I heard was the punchline from over here.
So reframe from saying sorry I was late, to say thank you for waiting for me.
Yes, where you put the value on the other person.
That's right.
It puts the respect for the other person's time.
Yeah. Yes. And it changes the way they perceive it too.
Yes.
Language. I love language. I love words. And I'm not a writer, but I love how the way you can speak you can say something to somebody that is not really positive. It can be quite negative, but if you say it in the right mindset, they can come away with it with feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
Am I great at doing it? No, I'm still learning it. In my case, I'm really good at presenting things. It comes with the MC work, the public speaking work that I've done over the years, the weddings that I've had to MC as a DJ. And because of that, I'm able to present sometimes. I've learned how to present things that are not always palpable in a manner that spoonful of sugar, if you will.
Yep.
You know, I've learned how to do that. But this usually has to do with work stuff, right?
Right.
How to do that in my personal life? No, I'm a fuck up.
Oh,
but I can present stuff pretty well. I have a reasonably pleasant voice and a manner about me that exudes confidence, I think, when I present things, and that helps when you're trying to tell somebody something that can be difficult. Now, if I'm emotional about it, I might not be so good at the time, because your base emotions sometimes have a way of taking over, especially as Ms. Shadika said, your first response is a trauma response. If you're defensive, your first response is a trauma response. And that is so truthful. So sometimes I immediately go to the defense, because I like everybody else that you've ever met or will ever meet, has trauma. Has trauma in their life. Whether it's been dealt with, we don't know.
Right.
Everybody has trauma, and your trauma is your trauma. Now, that might not be traumatic to me, but it was to you. It does not diminish. Oh, I thought you were trying to show me something. No. It does not diminish your trauma. It does not diminish you as a person. Whatever was a traumatic event for you is yours. And with that, I think I'm kind of running out of steam here. I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Let's.
It's been a big day.
Yeah, it's been a big day. Yeah, I've been going nonstop since about 6 a.m. I think, or something, because I had to take Miss Lola out for a long walk. Anyway, it's been a long day.
Yep.
It's been a big one. It's been, I think, a good day. We achieved something good today.
Yeah.
And I think we can really build on it from here. I really do. I think we can build on it from here. And I know that we have two people in our corner who are like, yeah, I want to come to this every year.
Yep.
Both the doctor and the senator. I'm like,
yep.
How did we get here?
Really, right? When you think about it,
how did we get here?
It's like I want to. I want to say
stiff.
we're friends with the senator. Now, of course, like we can't say we're friends. We're not calling each
We're
other
very
like
friendly.
to watch
We're
a
very
hockey,
friendly. Yeah,
watch a
nothing
hockey,
like that.
hang out, and watch a hockey game. But
we have a comfortable working relationship.
yes, and
The staff is wonderful, by the way.
mutual respect, but not only mutual respect, genuine, heartfelt for each other.
Yeah.
Right, and we felt that today, and even when I was bringing them off, sending them off, it's like literally any time, we so enjoyed working with you. Every experience so far has been enjoyed. That's the feedback that we're getting, and we feel the exact same way about them.
Okay, and I'm going to say something here that might be taken. Well, it'll be taken how it's taken. So I've seen him on television. I've seen him. We've had him on the show. Yeah. He's much better looking in person.
Yes,
he's so good looking. I'm like, I heard you were really like in my head when I'm shaking. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. He goes, just call me Patrick, please. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, that's a very good looking.
I thought he would have been taller.
No, I knew how tall he was.
I did not know how tall he was. I thought he would have been taller. But it's like, damn.
That's a fine looking man. So sorry. I hope that doesn't upset you, Senator, but good looking guy.
But good looking family.
Yeah, no kidding.
Entirely. I mean,
that River's going to be like a rock star. That kid's gorgeous.
That kid is just cuteness on two legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and like and if you're like speaking to the doctor and you're looking straight into her eyes, it can be a little disconcerting after a while because they are so strikingly gorgeous.
Well, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm a working class stiff guy who was in construction for 29 years. How do I have the right to be at the table with a doctor who is a fucking genius? How am I sitting here with a senator? Like, how did my life get here?
Right. I wonder the same thing. Like this, and that we're like again, it's this level of we want to work with you, and we look forward to the opportunity because we genuinely like being in your company.
Yeah, that's a wow for me. That's a wow.
And all our working interactions are absolutely amazing. So let's do that again. And it was easy.
Oh yeah. I do have to add something to this though, that I'm able to sort of see it from a third person viewpoint, only in the sense that my dad, his whole life, everybody he ever met was always like, "You're awesome." And he was like, "What am I doing hanging out with doctors and lawyers and engineers?" And I'm like, "Because you're awesome, Dad, and people see that in you." So I sort of can understand how I'm here, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I hope I'm not coming off as vain. It was just,
if people find you awesome, they'll want to work with you.
Well, this is, so, and I always thought about that. My dad, and he never saw it in himself, and I never really saw it in myself, and still to many degrees don't. But if I look at it from the perspective of my dad, I go, oh, I have to look at his experience, his life, to understand why people would want to be with me, because I'm a carbon copy of my father, a carbon copy. And anybody who knows me and knows my dad would say, yeah, no, you're just, and I'll be hanging out with my sisters and they're going, Jesus, you're just like father. It's like mannerisms, vocal intonation, the way I move my body. We're exactly the same. And I love the hell out of my father. So, I think I'm in good company.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. So yeah, when you ask that, I'm the same way, and then add the extra layer, right? Not only are we working with the senator, not only are we working with the doctor, not only is their staff absolutely fantastic, but then we have this community here that just constantly shows up.
Yeah.
Constantly shows up. It does not matter what we do like this. It doesn't matter what we propose. It's like you are all down for it. The support, the love, the encouragement, the everything. It's some days it's almost overwhelming. I have to.
I like this statement from Jay.
It's like it goes back to
Patrick is not a clickbait senator. He has heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the real deal.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. And he's an independent senator too, by the way.
Yes. He's a real deal. No, that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
And but we get that. It's like I keep on going back to the original story when people were asking me to start this, and I thought like nobody wanted to hear someone like me talk about politics, and I was proven wrong like pretty darn quickly.
Yeah.
But that was you guys, the audience, who proved me wrong. And we're in year 4, so I mean I have a little bit more confidence now that like I'm not worrying anymore that if we put something out, will there be someone who appreciates it? Not necessarily every kid will appreciate everything that we're doing.
Hate us just
like
for
this.
existing.
Yeah. But even among the kids, not every kid's gonna like. I've had kids, right? So I liked when you did this better than when you did that, and that type of stuff. And it's like not everything's gonna come with, but
can't please
but
everybody.
everything we do connects enough with enough of you on any given day that gives me the confidence, right? When I'm putting the show together, to know. It's like I'm thinking, this one might not be my best show, or this one might not be the most interesting. Like, when we have a day like we had on Friday where we're presenting the contrast of Mr. Singh and Miss May to get like, those are shows like, like look at this, we found this, we're presenting something
right
in a way that's not being presented by anyone else, and we're putting things together and allowing you to see, right? We get to do that, and I know, I know when I start that there are going to be kids that are going to say, wow, thank you for doing that. That was really great. We needed to see that in that way. And I know that that's going to happen, which gives you the energy to actually do it and pursue it. And like, I don't spend 2 hours going, nobody debating. I can just put my head down, have an idea, go for it.
Right.
All that pressure being taken off. Right. It's like knowing that whatever it is that I choose to do, so long as I'm focused on maintaining my level of quality, like in terms of the overall project, and of course, to the values that we bring to the show, that I hit those, because there will be enough people in our audience that will like it. Well, that I can go for it. And so whether it's an initiative, whether it's a theme on a show, whether it's whether it's one of the few days that sometimes we've come up and said, well, listen, like we had a really busy life, and we really don't have much orderly prepared, but we're going to get through the stuff that we have, and it's not as polished. They stay with us.
Well,
right?
We're mildly entertaining, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
But it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. Well, to know. I always have this expression that it's when the ground underneath you is solid, and it gets built up under you. The place from where you get to jump off from your next move keeps on being higher and higher. Right. So it's like when they say like shoot for the.
We're being told to wrap it up. Yeah, we're doing that.
When they say shoot for the moon, because you might not get there, but you'll reach the stars. Well, if every time you're shooting from the moon, it's like you're jumping from a platform that's higher and higher close to the moon, eventually you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I think, from my perspective, I always want to do. I always want to do a good show and deliver a good product, because that's the point of this, is deliver a good product. Yes. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes. I know we're shutting down.
Are you?
Yes, we are.
And we're gonna have a picnic in the park.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. We'll have a picnic in the park. Let me finish this. Yeah, we're wrapping it up. Getting direction from two different women here. That means we really got to shut down. So what I'm trying to say is I want to give a good product. I want to give you a good show. I want you to be informed and mildly entertained. But I personally, I'm not concerned with what people think. Oh, that sucked. Okay. I can't please everybody. So I don't get wrapped up in that. I always want to give you the best I can.
Yep.
Sometimes I fail at that, or sometimes I'm unsuccessful at that. See, I'm still falling back into the old habit. Sometimes I'm unsuccessful at giving you my best. I have rough days just like everybody else. But I always want to give you a good product. I always want to keep you informed, and I always want to mildly entertain you if I can and when I can. So, to that, thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today for the walk, and then again for the podcast. A very different podcast, always.
Yes.
We told you this would be different. There was a little bit of politics, but not political chat per se, as much as we just discussed how we need to get more mental health supports for men because they just aren't enough of them there.
Yes, we do.
So thanks for each and every one of you for reaching out today, for joining in, for commenting. Hang on a sec. We got another fella here who wants to say something. What's up, brother?
No, I don't want to say anything yet.
Oh, okay.
Douglas has a line that he ends the show with that I think he picked up for me. So when it's time, I want to say it.
Okay. Yes, all right. I know.
Yes, indeed.
All right,
Mr. Grizzly, do we have a PubCast?
we have a PubCast.
All right, kids and cubs, that's the end of this episode of the True North Eager Beaver monthly PubCast, live from...
The Lieutenant's Pump at 361 Elgin Street in beautiful downtown Ottawa.
Indeed. We hope that you love listening to us because we really loved making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless, and you have the mouths from which we want the word to come. So please tell all of your peeps and poops all about us. It makes us very happy when you do. If you would like to support us, you can go to our Podpage site sponsored by the Ray Girl, who, of course, has helped us also by buying one of our lovely T-shirts. So thank you very much. Yes,
I didn't know. Cool.
Yes, through our Facebook page. So if you scan that QR code that's on the screen, that will bring you to our Podpage site. And if you are going there manually, podpage.com/The True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when you click subscribe there, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it will come directly to you. If you would like to support us in other ways, please make your way to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page, where we have crossed 2,000 kits and cubs again, thanks to you. I mean, just thank you. It didn't happen Friday morning during the show, but it didn't take too long to happen after that. So again, we thank you. Hey, we're going to be greedy. Let's see if we can get 3,000 like Canada Day. Who knows? Like this, I'm very grateful, but I'm also going to choose to be a little greedy. But if you go there, you can make like Kit Cassie or make like Kit Elaine. If you make like Kit Cassie, you'll probably lick those buttons in front of your cowboy. And if you're like Kit Elaine, you're going to smash those buttons before going on to have a terrific or beaverific day. But like, share, subscribe, they're all there for you. And it makes us very happy when you click them. So thank you so much for doing so. And if you would like to support us in other ways, today, hopefully, if you go to our coffee page to support us, you will indicate that you are making a donation to one of our organizations. So if you go through coffee page and do that, or if you go to truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com and you make a little donation, if you make it to us, they will go to our two grassroots organizations, Men of the North and the Lonely Man Project. If you go to the Canadian Mental Health Association website, if you'd like to donate there and look for the Mental Health Walk page, you can make a donation to your to the national fund from the Canadian Mental Health Association there. And if you happen to be in your community and you know of an organization, you wanted to donate make your donation local, just tell us what it is. For all of you who make a donation to the Canadian Mental Health Association or other places and show us your receipts, we will enter your names into a draw for one of our lovely T-shirts that will be signed by Mr. Grizzly and myself. So you'll have it to go around.
I didn't even know
we will
about that.
send that to you. Yeah, it was a suggestion from Kit Linda M.
Okay.
So I figured that's the way to do it, to encourage you.
I like it.
Yes. If you would like to buy one of our T-shirts, $35 in e-transfer sent to True North Eager Beaver @gmail.com with your shirt size and your snail mail. We can go up to size 3XL, and we'll be selling them for the rest of the month to try and bolster our numbers. So if you could do that, we would really appreciate that too. And if you just want to make a flat out donation, you can do that as well. Same address, truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. Just make sure to put in the body of your email that you're directing it to the Mental Health Walk. All right, that's all for that bit. Let's see, because democracy is something that you do. Hey,
Mental health.
why not?
Talk about it.
Talk about it. And if you were not able to go for a walk today, go for a walk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just take some pictures, post them on our Facebook event page or on the True North Eager Beaver Facebook page @TrueEager on Twitter, and put the hashtag mental health walk, and we'll be able to find it. And we thank you for all your participation. We thank you, everybody who's joined in today for the chat. Big thank you goes to our podcast funding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Misfit Mysteries from Clover Moon Publishing, CanadianTarot.com, and all the wonderful staff at the Office of Senator Patrick Brazeau, as well as our guests, the Senator, the Honourable Patrick Brazeau, Dr. Marie-Claire Sancho, and Christopher Morasti, the Executive Director and Founder of the Men of the North Project. Also, a big thank you to Quick Nick from Addicts in the Dark, to the folks at Zal Press, who helped us as well. A big thank you to Bill Jeffrey from the Lonely Man Project who came. A big thank you to Dean and Lachlan, who had the Monday special with us on the main network. Big thank you also to Dr. Robert Whitley, who sent us some statistics and information, who will be on the show on the 20th with us. And, of course, Christopher Morasti will be with us in the last week of June to close off our events, and particularly since it's Indigenous History Month. It'll be nice to have him with us as well. All right, kids and cubs, from the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom?
I'm all wisdom out right now. Actually, I'm physically exhausted. I think I've imparted a few words today, and I'll settle with that.
That's quite right. So now, exclusively kids and cubs, and we might have to actually.
Here's the thing, though.
If we
here's
can
the thing.
You don't have it.
Well, no, he's going to use the line, but here's the thing.
We don't have it.
It's a PubCast. It's different.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and use the line anyway, sir.
And maybe we can cut it and use it at some point.
Yeah, I'll blend it in later.
But, Kid Michael, please.
Cue the cock.